Shwmae a croeso I Horror Hyperfixations, Sam ydw I, and that's about as much Welsh I can do without using Google Translate, and I don't want to cheat, but I am your neurodivergent host, Sam, and this is Horror Hyperfixations, where I look at horror through a neurodivergent lens. I thought I had to try and do a little bit of Welsh there for the intro. If you are watching on video, you can't see this mess to the side of me. I'm trying to sort out this room. I'm doing a big sort out. Ignore it, please. I wanted to do an episode about Wales and the Welsh horror community, Welsh filmmakers, Welsh festivals, anything and everything Welsh. I've grown up being very, very proud to be Welsh, and every now and then I get really, really excited about being Welsh again, and want to watch lots of Welsh films and stories and practice learning Welsh again. So I decided I'm going to do something for St. David's Day. I was going to do a post where I was going to share a load of Welsh horror to get people watching Welsh horror for St. David's Day. I didn't do that. Well, I did put a post out on St. David's Day, but I didn't watch any in the run-up like I planned. And I wanted to do a podcast episode in the run-up as well, but that didn't happen. But it's all good because I've done it now. I went on holiday in between, so I didn't have a chance, but for some reason I chose to do this episode with 4 people. So I've got 2 Welsh filmmakers, and I've got 2 Welsh film festivals. So on this episode, which is probably going to be longer than my previous longest episode, which was the Ghost Stories episode, so feel free to listen to it in chunks. So on this episode, I chat to Tom from Ritual Video, Nia from the Abattoir Film Festival, James from Mad Science Films, and Tom and Chad from Rilla Thriller. I did record this over the last month probably. Like I said, I don't know why I picked to have 4 people on this episode, because that is now 4 separate chats I have had to edit and do captions for and send for approval. So it's gonna be a little while probably between doing this intro and actually putting the episode out. But it's been a labour of love. It's been an absolute pleasure to talk to these filmmakers from Wales, the festivals from Wales, and just talk about our love for Welsh cinema, or the problems we have in Wales as Welsh horror fans. They could be from needing to go to London to do events, or the lack of funding for festivals and filmmakers. We talked about a whole bunch of different things, but I'll stop rambling now because this episode is going to be long enough without me doing too long an intro as well. So I will give you a little introduction in between each segment just to introduce you to everybody. So coming up first is Tom from Ritual Video. He's been on the podcast before talking about low budget and zero budget filmmaking. He is a brilliant, brilliant Welsh filmmaker. So we talk about his last feature and the features he's currently working on. I think he's got 3 on the go because he's mad, but I love him. He's brilliant. So enjoy the conversation with Tom. Hello, Future Sam here. I forgot to pop this in to the intro for my massive Welsh episode. I just wanted to shout out some fellow Welsh podcasters that I absolutely love what they do. Go and check out Will Chich, who does the What You Haven't Seen podcast, where we talk about films, what you haven't seen, insert name here. It's a brilliant podcast. I really enjoy it, so go check that one out. My friend Caitlin Downs has the podcast Kill Listen, which is the most genius name ever for a podcast. It is a podcast about Kill List. If you like Kill List and get a nerdy about one film in particular, go check out Kill Listen. And then a new favourite of mine is Wimplash. It is 3 Welsh lads sitting around talking about horror films. 2 of them love horror, 1 of them is a big wimp, and they try and scare him. And every episode I nearly cry laughing. I look like an absolute lunatic listening to it in my headphones, belly laughing and snort laughing because it is so funny. And it is just like sitting in the pub and chatting with your mates about films, and I absolutely love it. So go check out those 3 podcasts. Fellow Welshies, if there's any of you that I've forgotten about, I'm so sorry. Please tell me off. But also, I'm sure if you like horror, you already follow Annie James of Annie's Horror, at Annie's Horror on Instagram. She will be doing a podcast too. She is a Welsh horror queen. She's living in LA. She is spreading the word of awesome Welsh people over in LA doing amazing things. I'm waiting very impatiently for a podcast from her as well. So go follow Annie if you don't already, because we will have a podcast at some point. And not Welsh, but married to a lovely Welsh person. Her husband, Kevin McCarthy's podcast is brilliant as well as a recommendation for another podcast. Anyway, I'm going to go now. Bye. Hey, Tom, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me on again.
No problem. Thanks for coming back. So Tom was one of my earliest guests. Very lovely. Came on to talk about low budget filmmaking. And he is a friend who is also Welsh, and he's a filmmaker. So I thought absolutely had to come on and talk to me about Welsh film and Welsh horror. For anyone who hasn't listened to the previous episode, do you want to give yourself a little introduction, who you are and what you do?
So my name's Tom Hughes. I run a production company in South Wales called Ritual Video, where I make music videos for metal bands, and I've just started making indie features, kind of no budget horror features, which I shoot around where I live in South Wales.
And that's why I was really keen to speak to you, because everything you make feels inherently Welsh to me, because it's the accents I recognise, it's the scenery and the backgrounds I recognise, and I always feel like I connect to anything, whether it's like a music video or a film. I always connect to stuff more when I can feel as Welsh. And I know that is so dumb, but I don't know, do you have this same weird thing about being Welsh? I don't know whether it's different because
nice
we were in
to
different
see
ends
yourself.
of the valleys. Yeah,
you see yourself and you recognise it, it's nice. But also, it's super important to me with everything I'm making to be authentic with at least the Welsh side of things. I don't think just because you're in the valleys you have to make stories that are really small and about the valleys. You can make whatever films you want, but because I'm acting in my stuff myself and I'm casting a lot of my friends, and most of the people that I cast in things are local, the last thing I'd want to do is try and shoot something really swanky and American looking and have people do loads of crazy accents. Most of the time people are doing their natural voice and their natural accent, and showing people as they are and Wales as it is was kind of important to me with the stuff I'm making, even if the actual plot of the films I'm making is totally off the wall or whatever.
Weed Killer's a perfect example of that.
Yeah.
It is not anything to do with the valleys. The story is, really silly, said with love, and it doesn't feel like something that you'd expect to see set in the valleys. But the characters, the accents, just the setting of it being set in Newport, I love that juxtaposition of I don't know what I'm trying to say, but it doesn't feel like a Welsh story, but it's set in Wales.
Yeah, and I wanted to set it in Newport because that's where I'm from, and I grew up in Risca, but I was born in Newport. I spent loads of time there. When I was putting together at the start of the film was a John Carpenter montage thing with a
That's great.
backstory
I
of
love
what's
it.
going on in Newport. The footage is public domain footage of Newport in the 80s, and it's supposed to be sci-fi, futuristic. Everything's gone to shit. It's literally just the 80s in Newport.
I keep meaning to ask you where that footage came from, because I figured it was riot footage from America or something.
Oh, some of it was
Newport.
London, the riot, but the stuff you see at the start, you can see the main street in Newport, where the bank is, and there's recognizable stuff in it. Yeah, I feel if you're gonna go kind of on the brink of apocalypse, then Newport is the place to do it if you're doing it in the valleys.
It always feels like it's one step away from apocalypse
Just
at all times in Newport.
Yeah.
It's just it's an interesting, special place, is Newport.
It's scary. It used to scare the hell out of me, man.
I used to be pretty scared when I lived there.
The amount of times I got started on by people and it was rough.
I mean, Newport is where I met Tom years ago. I spent 3-4 years living in Newport, and I never wasn't a bit scared being there.
Yeah, it is.
It's just a strange place, and I never go there anymore, apart from to catch a bus to London.
Yeah, I don't go there much. Like I was contemplating shooting a lot of weed killer like in Newport Town Centre,
Mm,
and I was like, I just can't because like if I need to shoot night scenes, I just try and shoot them in Newport. There's too many real life crazy people who'll just get in the way of the shots and ruin what I'm
yeah.
trying to do, or like, yeah, you just wouldn't get away with it. It's weird that like being terrified of the place when I was younger, and then finding a way to try and make a film about it to kind of control it and make it like this scary place, but I'm shooting it in a way that I can control and I'm the hero in it and like I'm beating the bad guys. Like I think it is some weird I can finally get revenge on all the chavs that picked on me when I was a teenager or something.
I love that. Obviously, Weed Killer isn't out yet, so anyone
Yes.
listening won't be able to know what we're talking about yet. And just to pour out there for like the opening scenes, I watched your first cut on my phone, so I didn't notice everything. But yeah, do you want to tell people what the film's about, just whilst we're
Uh
talking about it?
yeah, so it's a it started off as just a slasher film. It's supposed to be a short film, and it's just about a gang that takes over this gardener's allotment. So he just gets a bunch of garden tools and goes on like a revenge mission to get the gang back. And as I started shooting it, it just kind of ballooned into this like hour and 15-minute film, which is what it is now. So it's shot on video, it's shot on like VHS-C. Um, yeah, and it's just a love letter to like shot on video films from the 90s and 2000s, basically, mostly like from the 90s. And it's going to be coming out this summer. It's going to be out digitally, it's going to come out on VHS, and hopefully it's going to come out on Blu-ray and DVD as well.
It's fucking great. Like I've only seen the first cut, so I haven't seen the final cut yet, but I loved it. To me, it felt like if Trauma made a film in Newport,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
and please take that as the compliment I intend that
Yeah, man.
as. Like
The t-shirt I'm wearing right now is Trauma, man. I love Trauma. And
as
Toxic Avenger was a big influence as well, like the whole guy gets a like radioactive serum injected into him. It's like I'm ripping off Toxic Avenger a lot.
it no, it doesn't feel like a rip off at all. It feels like a loving homage
Yeah, that's what it
to
is.
Toxie and Trauma type stuff, because it does have that really like raw DIY like
It's
look
like
to
quite
it.
punk, I think, isn't it? It's like
Yeah.
quite a DIY punk. It's quite an aggressive film, but I still don't think I really took it far enough. Like I was watching Violent New Breed the other day, the Todd Sheets film, and like he did so much crazy shit in that film that I watched stuff like that from the late 90s and I think I should have done more. I should have done more crazy shit. Like I need to go more extreme. But I've already written a sequel anyway, so if I get money to make that, that'll be even more extreme.
Well, not to give any spoilers, but that sucks because I'm fucking dead, so I can't be in the sequel.
Yeah, but you played so many people, you can just
I
come
think
back
I
as
was
another
four
character.
people.
You're like three or four
I think
people.
I think it was four in I think it was four in the end. So
It
maybe
was only
maybe I
me who
could.
played more characters than you did in the film, and that's because I was everyone in the film. So
Like I keep chuckling about, putting my B in GCSE drama to good use. I'm
yeah,
clearly a accomplished and amazing actress.
yeah,
But I think that now makes like six different roles I've done with you,
yeah.
because you're clearly desperate for people in your
I
film,
just
if you
I
ask
just
me.
rope everybody in. Yeah, if anybody says yes and is still on board after we film stuff, then I'm just like, yeah, well, just come back then, do more, because
Yeah, no, that's what I love, and like that I think that feeds into, like I was saying about it feels like people that I know, and it feels inherently Welsh because these are real people. Like some of those people are actors, but a lot of them are
yeah,
just people like me who just fucking love films and want to be
yeah,
involved and like help friends out because you're mates, or help friends out because you think like you're actually fucking good, like I do.
yeah.
Um,
And all the dialogue is from people in Risca as well. Like I grew up in Risca. So many of the conversations in that film are from growing up in Risca. The things that people say are from growing up in Risca. Like there's sayings that I haven't heard in other places. Same with this found footage film that I'm doing called Wishamwell Road. Like there's a part in that where my character gets lost, and I ask a guy for directions, and I'm like, "Oh, do you know the way here? Can you tell me how to get there?" And he says, "I'd rather stick bees up my ass." that to me is like an absolutely standard thing for people to say. Is that
I've never heard anyone say that
I'd
before.
rather, like, that's just a risker. I'd rather stick bees up my ass. That's a normal thing, like, for me. So, like, I put it in and, like, I've showed it to a few people. They're like, what's he on about? I'm like, well, what do you mean? It just means, I can't be bothered or whatever.
Yeah, Riska.
Loads of the
Dad
shit I
used to
grew up
live
with
in
is weird as
Riska,
fuck,
so
apparently.
I used to spend a lot of time in Riska when I was a kid. And I lived in Rogerstone for a while, which is, near as damn it. But I've never
Yeah.
heard anyone say I'd rather stick bees up my ass. I
Yeah,
like
you
it. I
people
might
say it a
add that
lot.
into my vocabulary.
Yeah, it's a good
That's
one.
that's what I like in Fox Hollow as well. I imagine that a lot of the film was scripted, but there was probably a lot of improv between you and Paul as well.
Yeah.
Um, and that dialogue feels like authentic people from the valleys talking. It doesn't feel like somebody's sat down and written a script and tried to force words into people's mouths. I know you're
Yeah.
both playing characters, but it doesn't feel like and in the best possible way. It doesn't feel like a scripted,
Yeah.
overthought, written performance. It just feels like two people from the
Yeah.
valleys.
Loads of that was loose.
Yeah, and I figured
Like
as much.
especially
Just
Paul's stuff, like, and I think like Paul being from Merthyr and growing up there, like that just comes out when he improvises. He has these little sayings and stuff that are like really great valleys ways of talking. I wouldn't have even written because I'm not from that area. It's a different area again. So it's like even though on a map they're really close to each other, they're probably half hour away in a car. Actually the way of talking is really different in each little town. So the stuff that Paul comes out with I wouldn't have written even. So
oh, there's
it's nice to get
there's
that like regional dialect in each.
yeah, because I since I was really little, like saying about like the being proud to be Welsh bit earlier. It's always in school for us. It was always like, oh, you should be proud to be Welsh, and you get told all these cool poems about being Welsh, and England sucks, Wales is the best, and like I don't hate England, just to put it out there, but I'm very proud to be Welsh. And yeah, being Welsh as part of my identity has always been something I've been like excited about. But I used to get so excited as a kid when I'd meet people from like other towns, like just down the road, and their accent would be completely different. And the things they'd say would be completely different. And I'd be like, what are you on about?
Yeah.
Um, and they can't understand why I don't understand what they're saying, these little phrases and stuff. And I've always found that fascinating that there's so many different accents and stuff with it. Like you said, like within a couple of minutes down the road,
Yeah,
there's all these
yeah.
different dialects and all these different accents.
And
And
speeds of talking as well. I was filming the other day with Emma Stacey, who's from my stag, and she was saying that she had to tone down her accent and speak slower. And she'd spoke. I've never heard her do it before, and I've known her for I don't know, like 5 years or something. And she was like, "This is how I used to talk," and she talked in like this crazy thick my stag accent at like 5,000 miles an hour with all the sayings and all the slang, and I was like, "Fuck yeah, you're losing me," and I'm like, I'm from Wales, like so. Yeah, it's mad, and like definitely the speed people talk is different as well, isn't it? Like the higher you go up the valleys, for some reason, the faster people talk sometimes.
yeah, I find I'm the opposite of I well not like controlling it. I get worse, like inverted commas worse.
Yeah,
Like
me
if I'm
too.
talking to
Yeah,
somebody really Welshy, I'll get
yeah,
really
me too.
Welshy.
Yeah, me
And
too.
like I've just been on holiday and there were fucking loads of people on the cruise ship that were from the valleys, and I'd hear their
Oh, that's
accents and
cool.
I'd be like, oh, there's a
Yeah,
Welsh
yeah,
person. And if we somehow get into conversation with them, I'd find myself just getting Welsher and Welsher.
yeah, me too.
And
Yeah,
I think that's a tism thing of like
yeah,
copying people. But
yeah,
like there was one family from Merthyr and they had just super thick accents, and we were like, "Oh yeah, we're from Ebervale." La, la. And
yeah,
I was like, "Why am I so Welsh right now?"
yeah, yeah,
And like my sister's lived in England the last like 20 odd years, so her accent has like toned down a bit.
yeah,
But when she comes home, she's exactly the same. She starts getting more and more Welsh the longer
yeah,
she's with me, and she
yeah.
always says to me like,
you're so Welsh right now. And I can hear it sometimes when I get
Yeah,
excited. If I'm talking
yeah,
about Wales or I'm talking to other Welsh people,
yeah,
not just in Tesco, if I'm in London
yeah,
or something,
yeah,
it just
yeah.
gets worse. And yeah, it's
It
very
definitely makes me
strange.
proud, like especially with the film stuff as well. Like I like having, like at the moment I'm making some things for streaming platforms, and once they go on there, it's the only Welsh thing on there, and that makes me really happy.
Amazing.
Like
Well
knowing
done.
that something I'm making is really Welsh, shot by Welsh people locally around where I live. I'm not like traveling or hiring loads of people in. It's all made within a really small radius, like a really small area of South Wales, and then it can go on something, and like people can see at least some sort of a representation of like what people are like or what they sound like, or and it's also for me, it's like it's important to me to make Welsh films that aren't necessarily just about Wales, but are like set here and using the landscape because I don't feel like there's enough like horror from Wales or enough like underground filmmaking from Wales. There's a lot of commercial filmmaking in Wales, and there's a
Yeah,
lot of really middle of the road, boring TV shows that are made here. And there's a lot of Welsh language stuff, but that's all really commercial as well. It tends to be like soap opera kind of stuff like Pobble or whatever. Um, and I just feel like there needs to be more genre stuff going on with Welsh
absolutely.
people in that isn't like an English person comes to Wales to write a book and then goes back to England. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's nice to make stuff that's like, no, this is what it's like here, and it's about people who live here. Um, yeah, I don't know where I was going with that, but that's
No, it's interesting. Like Cardiff has become a hub for filmmaking, like you said, like bigger budget stuff, more commercial stuff. Have you got like I know you've worked in like some commercial projects and like
yeah,
slightly bigger indie things. Have you got any sort of thoughts about why it's all come to Wales? Is it just because it's cheaper to set up in
yeah.
Cardiff, or is it because there's something about Wales like the people are, there's creative people around that they can use? Like, have you got any
I
thoughts
think there's
on
both.
why?
Like there are creative people around. There's loads of creative people in Cardiff. There's Films at 59 who started as a small rental house and now rents gear to all the biggest productions go in. Like there's Bad Wolf in Wales that are like
Hmm.
similar. Started really small, now we're massive. So there's loads of like companies. Obviously BBC's there. Um, but I think that the day rate you need to pay somebody in London is probably maybe double or at least a quarter over the day rate you would need to pay somebody in Cardiff, I expect, because the cost of living in London's higher and everybody needs like the industry standard for a day. So if you hire a focus puller in London, you're probably paying more than a focus puller in Cardiff, but I don't know that. I'm not sure. When I worked on stuff, I was working for It's My Shout, which is this like little production company in Bridgend, and I was doing short films for BBC Wales. So I drove the camera van. I was a camera assistant on 9 shorts for a summer, and I worked for a year for that company. Um, and when I was in the Roath Lock BBC offices, it was exactly as dry and boring and middle management businessy as you'd expect it to be.
Yeah.
Everybody sits around and talks about things and worries about everything, and it doesn't seem, I don't know, like my focus has always been on just getting out and making stuff. And like once you go into that kind of commercial world, you either have suits talking about the ins and outs of things and what's allowed and what's not and how best to tick boxes, or you end up with these um, crew people who work on crews constantly, and it's just exactly the same as stacking a shelf at Tesco, and they don't give a shit about filmmaking or films or the director. They actively dislike the director of whatever project they're working on and think he or she is a fucking idiot most of the time. They all talk shit about each other. It's horrible. It was like being back in school when I worked on stuff. And this is also working on like Friends things as part of the camera team, and I've been a data wrangler on things. And every time I've worked on anything commercial or with a large budget, everybody's there just to do their job and they just want to do it and go home, which is understandable. You're doing a job for years, that's the way it becomes. But I think it's really easy to get burnt out if you're in that environment all the time as somebody who wants to make films. the more I worked in the commercial side of things and the mainstream side of things, the more depressed I got about filmmaking in general, just because of the workaday ethic of everybody and just nobody having any passion really, apart from the directors and the writers who are then pushing against 10 suits telling them they can and can't do this, and 30 crew who are literally only there because you're paying them to be there. It's like,
Yeah, I keep seeing loads of jobs advertised for the various studios and things in Cardiff, and I always think, oh, I'd love to work in film and do something in film.
yeah,
That would be great. Like, I love film, but then I stop and think, and I'm like, actually, would I fucking hate it? One, would I be too overwhelmed just by the
yeah,
different people and
yeah,
everything, and
it's
just being
hard.
like, no, I need to go home. But also, would I end up, you see how the sausage is made,
Yeah,
and when it's a bigger production company or wherever, like you said, there's going to be a lot more people who are doing it for the money and doing it because it's a job, not because they want to. I feel like, again, I don't know whether this is your experience, but being brought up Welsh and as part of that, like, pride and things about being Welsh was Welsh people are creative. We are in the arts. So, like, I've played musical instruments since I was 7. I've sung my whole life. I still sing. um, and like painting and writing and all these sorts of things. Do you think that because we are all encouraged more, we do have more like Welsh creatives? I don't know if that question made any sense,
it's
but
definitely in school more. Like, I don't think I would have started playing guitar. No, I would have. I started playing guitar at 8, but then when I was like 12, there was a teacher in my school that played acoustic guitar and taught that, and he taught me like classical guitar. And then when I went to comp, they would just have this like lady come, and she had like this VW Beetle that was like a proper clanger, like a clanker, like. And yeah, she would just have like those Irish drums and loads of flutes and loads of like mini harps and stuff. And she took all the kids who played music in the school and just started this folk band with like fiddles, and like it was cool. And we were playing like Celtic music and everyone had a little waistcoat on. Like I feel like that's a really Welsh.
same. Yeah,
It
our
was,
school
oh
had
dude,
like,
and I did in front of the school, and all the school watched me and I had my little vest on playing my acoustic guitar.
see, I fucking hated the kids who did the folk band because, like, a lot of the time they were pushed into it. Usually they were a bit thick.
Right.
And they were pushed into the folk band because they didn't need to read any music. Like, they'd be like, "You
Oh,
dumb kid, stop being
hit this
naughty.
drum.
Here's a baran," and he'd just be like,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
But penny whistles make me want
Yeah,
to pull my
penny
eyeballs
whistles, that
out.
was it.
Can't fucking deal with penny whistles. And
Yeah,
when there's multiple children going,
yeah.
no. So whenever I hear any kind of like Celtic music like that, honestly, it gives me the rage and I want to scream. So I have to run away. So if anyone's ever doing like a Kaylee or anything, I'm like, no, thank you, not
Yeah.
coming to that.
I do feel like it was more part of the culture though, wasn't it? Like it was cool
Yeah,
to have that and
absolutely.
like
And it was encouraged for us. Like, I
yeah.
know more schools like sing in assembly and stuff, but we did you have I said foods every year.
Yeah, they used to go to Ice Stepford. I don't know
Did
if
you
they
have
used
a
to,
school one? Because like
I don't
from
know.
infant school we would every St David's Day, and like same out St David's Day.
Maybe,
This is sort of
yeah.
how I started wanting to do this episode because I was like, I'm going to do something for St David's Day, and then I
Oh,
didn't
okay.
actually fucking do it.
Yeah.
Who me not do things when I have ideas, but yeah, like from infant school we'd have I said for, and it'd be like writing poems, and I can't remember what ones I won, but like I know I won a couple of different ones over the years for like writing poetry and painting and music. I used to enter the music ones every time. So I'd always win by default just because I was the
Yeah.
only fucking lame kid playing flute.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I just feel like I've always got to do something. I never know what to do with my creative, like,
Yeah.
urges. Sounds like a weird word to use, but like, I never know how to channel it. And so I just pick at loads of little bits. But I just feel
Yeah.
like because my entire life I've been told that you are Welsh, you are creative, you are in the arts, you are gifted, you must continue.
That's cool
Um,
though. I wish I was told that. That's an awesome thing to be told.
I just I
I've
and
always
that's not
felt the
me
opposite.
personally. That's not me
Like
personally. Like I think that's just like the environment. like my family environment, my school
Mm,
environment, like everybody was always encouraged to like be artistic and musical and stuff.
that's cool.
Yeah,
I
fucking
think
rad.
where I live, people just want you to sort yourself out and go and get a job. Like that's
Yeah.
been my experience my whole life. Is no one's really encouraged me to be creative or artistic at all, apart from other creative people. Most of the people I meet are just like, "You doing what? What are you on about?"
Hmm.
And
Why
even
would you
when
want to
I've
do
had
that?
filming stuff, people are like, "What are you filming?" Like they sound so disgusted, and then you tell them, and they're like, "Yeah, but what are you doing it for?"
They think you're making some kind of weird nudie film in the woods.
Yeah, or they just don't get why you would go out and make something like at all. They're just like, yeah, but why? And you're like, why
Yeah,
not,
I do
man?
wonder if
Like,
that's like a value sensibility, or whether that's just like how people are now. Because I think everyone
it's kind of
expects
how
everything
life is.
instantly. Like, not a related example at all, but like small businesses selling stuff, and people are like, "Where's my stuff?" And
Yeah,
they're like, "Well,
yeah.
I've got to make it,
It's
and then
because
I've
of
got to
Amazon,
post it."
man.
Yeah, and stuff like Amazon.
Just wreck
And
it.
I think sometimes people forget that everything isn't instant, and that
Yeah,
somebody's got to go out and make a film for you to watch that film. Like, we just get dropped like multi-million pound episodes of
yeah.
Stranger Things. It just goes
In
plop on
chunks or
there, and
whatever,
people
yeah.
don't think about like things being made and where it's come from. So yeah, it's really strange that people like are so confused by it, but I think it is part of that like little bubble everyone lives in now, and everything's instant, and they don't think about the fact that somebody's got to
Yeah.
make films. I don't know what my point I'm trying to get to is, but yeah, I find that interesting that people respond that way.
Yeah, I don't think it's particularly encouraged. Especially like as like I'm 40 this year and I'm like the older I get, the more I feel like the people around me are just like, come the fuck on. What are you
Grow up,
doing? You
Tom.
know? And it's like I'm doing literally the only thing I can do. I don't know what else to do. Like I can't go work a normal job, so I'm doing the thing I can do. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah,
Um, but also, I think there is definitely like a misconception with how difficult it is to make a film, especially when you're doing a lot of the jobs yourself and you're taking it from like inception to like delivery. That's such a long, maybe year and a half, 2 year process, usually for most films, that it's really difficult to like keep yourself motivated and push something through to completion. I don't feel like people really get that unless they've tried to make something uh, that large themselves, you know. I guess that's how we get onto film fests, isn't it? Like at least most film festival people understand how difficult it is to make a film and
yeah.
at least appreciate the amount of effort you've put in, even if they don't end up programming what you've made, you know?
Mhm. Same for the audiences. That's what I was just gonna sort of move on to. The more I put myself out there, the more I find that there's like a nice little community of film lovers in general in Wales. But then horror film lovers. I found myself lots of nice little groups of people now that I'm
Yeah,
friends with. I go to different events with these different people. Um, and obviously festivals and stuff. Like I'll be chatting to the lads from Rilla Thriller and Nia from Abattoir. I know you've been to Abattoir. I
yeah,
have
it was
yet to
great.
go. Every year I forget, and then I leave it too late, and I can't get my act together. But I will
Yeah,
go
it's
one
hard to get
day.
a ticket for Abattoir though.
Yeah. Um, but you've been up to Rill, haven't you? Have you been up or
No, I haven't
no?
been to Rail. I've been to Abattoir and it was awesome. It's actually one of the only film festival I've been to was Abattoir.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't been to Rail. I can't really do film festivals. Even though I love the people and I obviously love sitting down and watching loads of films, I just get so tired with the socializing
Mm-hmm.
that I just need to go and lie down in a dark room. I can do a
Yeah.
day, but like I can't do. I just struggle. I really struggle. I think Abattoir was when I really, really struggled because it was like 3 or 4 days in a row. It was like a long
Yeah.
weekend I went for with a mate, and then like by Sunday, there was a few times where we nearly had a full-on argument with each other. Like so I was so tired, I just couldn't cope at
You
all.
should see me at the end of Fright Fest when
It's
it's
how long is
five
Fright Fest?
days. It's
Oh,
five
okay,
days. It starts on
that's
the
too much.
Thursday. Starts the Thursday afternoon and it finishes Monday night. So generally I'm there either Wednesday night or Thursday morning until Tuesday
Yeah,
morning. and
Yeah.
I'm like non-stop that whole time.
God.
So I just get home and I'm just like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
dead.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I like the smaller ones. Like Rilla Thriller is lush, like is in a nice little venue. I try and watch as many of the films as I can in a film festival, like out of respect. But also,
Yeah.
I've got to, I've got to, ration my spoons. And if I'm like, right,
Yeah.
okay, this is a bit loud, this is a bit much, I will go out and I'll walk down to the beach. You could do that in Rill slash,
Yeah.
go for a little walk or jump in the car. Um, and I think like Rilla Thriller is a really social festival, which is nice. Like quite often people will be like, I don't want to watch this film, not because they're rude, just because like
Yeah.
they've made a bunch of friends. Like I've made a bunch of friends from going to Rilla Thriller and it's lush, and everyone will have a pint and hang around and chat
Yeah.
and stuff, and it's really social. So that might be a bit easier for you to do, but it is
Yeah.
nice. It feels like there is like a growing sense of community, and I'm finding more like filmmakers and writers and things in Wales. Do you think there is like a good like base
Yeah.
community?
Yeah. I feel like it's coming on stronger as well. I feel like more people are making stuff, and more people are making stuff outside of the system where they're not just going through the kind of go to college, try and get a BBC job, and then be a runner to like get into film. I feel like more people are kind of taking it into their own hands and making indie films, which is cool.
Yeah,
And
that
like, there's always loads of productions happening in Wales. Either like whether you're looking for work as an actor or you're working on crew or something, big productions come to Wales a lot because the landscapes and everything. And then like there's also a lot of people here making things. And luckily for people like me, there are also indie people and underground people who will donate their time to your project because you can't pay them, or lend a hand with a location or whatever it is, you know.
with the with like all the big studios and stuff coming to Wales, do you think there is more opportunities for indie people to get stuff like made and seen? Like, do you know if there's like grants and stuff available for people? I'd imagine probably not.
I can't get anything. I've tried. So the grant system is essentially the same as the commissioning system for mainstream TV. Um, it isn't. It's only available to you if you're kind of working within a framework that is acceptable to mainstream sensibilities. You need to make horror, but it needs to have a social message with it. Or you need to fit into a category as a human being that is box tickable to get them the brownie points that they want. Or you need to have won a short competition, and then you go from that short competition, maybe you do like a BAFTA short or like a film company short, and then you go and do something else, then you get a development thing, and then you might be able to pitch something else. And there are these ways that I'm seeing people that I know and friends go through. um, I think for somebody like me, that's all completely off the table. I
Yeah.
can't I can't deal with boardrooms and meetings and committees and feedback and focus groups, and it's just a nightmare to me. That's the exact opposite of creativity as far as I'm concerned. But I think there are avenues available to filmmakers in Wales if you're going to go and do that kind of thing, or you're happy working within a system like that and dealing with people like that. There are ways that you can make films in Wales, and you don't have to go anywhere to do it. You can do it in Cardiff, or you can do it where you want. Um, I do wish there were more accessible funds for people like me who have done it the hard way, though. Because if you're 19 and you come straight out of uni and you've done a course and then you get a short made, you can do a short and then you kind of have a bit of an in then to be able to pitch a feature or whatever, or pitch for one of these grants to get in. Whereas if you're somebody like me, the fact that I've gone out myself and single-handedly directed features doesn't even factor at all. So like, in the eyes of anybody commissioning something, I'm classed as an unproven director, an unproven filmmaker. I've never had anything on telly. I have no credits to my name. I have no accolades or anything. Therefore, I'm not qualified to be a filmmaker in their eyes. And I think there's something wrong with that
It's so
because,
stupid. You should look at your body of work and go, this guy's done this many music videos, this many shorts, he's done this many features with zero money. What could he do with money?
that
That's
that
that's how
that
it
would
should
be
be.
nice. That
Yeah.
would be nice. Like I've tried applying for grants. I've never gotten anything. Um,
It's because you're too weird.
yeah, I think that's it. I think ultimately the people who fund things want something either bankable so they can make the money back, which is
Yeah.
understandable, or the people within these institutions want something palatable that can be played on television. And if you don't want to make things that are palatable, then you don't have a place there. But that's why the underground's always existed, and you can go out and do things yourself, isn't it? I think there was a point in my filmmaking career, I suppose, when I was working on other people's films and I was wanting to work in the film industry and I was doing crew jobs and I was working on other people's features. But I did that for years and I was no closer to making a film. I think I just had to get to the point where I was like, you're either going to go make something or you're not. Like, it's going to be hard. You're going to have no money. No one's going to help you. You just have to go and do it yourself. And you have to really want to do it because it's so difficult. Um, but I think since I decided to cut all that stuff loose and stop working on other people's stuff and start just really focusing on my own stuff and just making and putting out and making and putting out, um, my filmmaking's improved loads the last like decade, like it's come on loads and my skill set's got better. I've got better as a director. I've started acting myself, so I've learned more about actors and directing actors through just acting myself than I would have if I had done Meisner courses or whatever technique courses that people would recommend. I kind of feel like being untrained as an editor and a cinematographer and an actor and a director has helped because you don't get your style trained out of you through formal training. Because I do kind of think there is something about the institutions in Wales that make films that train uh, the things that make you out of you in order to make you this thing that they can go, here's this guy, he's good, he says yes, he does what he's told. Um, and I think if somebody like me used to do that, you'd just end up with films that aren't me. You couldn't make something like Weed Killer anyway.
No. It's like how we met back in the olden days with like tattooing and stuff. Like when I was learning to tattoo, I could have been a great flash tattoo artist, would have been a
Yeah,
fucking shit custom tattoo artist. And it's like that. It's like, do you want to be your own filmmaker or do you want to be a director for hire? And I feel
yeah.
like it's like, I know it's a stupid comparison, but like that's what it
No, it
feels
makes
like to
sense.
me of like I could do this one thing and be a director for hire and work on other people's stuff, but actually I'd rather do my own stuff. And if I can't do my own stuff for like me, I'm like, well, I just won't do it then. Fine, I'm lazy. But
Yeah,
you've just gone fuck it and gone off and done it. And like I'm always, I don't know whether I'm impressed or concerned when you're always like
should
working
be
on like
both.
four or
Should be
five
both.
projects at once. I'm just
Yeah,
like, how the fuck are you
yeah.
doing this? But that's ADHD for
Just
you. Just a
ADHD, innit?
perfect
Yeah,
example of
just
just like, I'm gonna do
ADHD.
this, and I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do this. And I love it. I don't
Yeah.
know how you keep track of everything. I really don't.
I think it does come back to living here as well. Like there's not that much going on, man. There's not
Yeah.
that much happening really in the valleys. So there's no money. I've got no money. No one's got any money to do anything. There's no real hope for anything to change or like I was improvising the other day and I literally improved the words we live in the valleys, we've got no money, we've got no hope, there's no future, nothing's going to change unless we just go do stuff ourselves. And like that kind of came out of nowhere. I didn't know I was going to say it when I was improvising the take. And I was like, okay, that's just how I feel then. Like I do feel like there's not a future here, or there's not much hope here, but you literally have to invent it for yourself. Like if you don't have a purpose, you just have to make yourself one. And I think I do go overkill because I go, okay, this film's not gonna be funded. Well, I'll go make three of my own films. So this film's not going to come out yet. Then I'm going to go, and, I'll go and do two other things. And I do have this like I'll show you kind of thing. But I think that again, that comes from like the punk DIY thing, doesn't it?
Yeah. I think it's cool
Um,
though, because like even though you haven't had like that bigger studio experience of making your films and stuff, you still managed to get them out there, and it just shows that like investment, I guess, in you as a filmmaker that people will like. You got the Blu-rays for Fox Hollow funded. Like people were like, "Fuck yeah, I'll buy a Blu-ray from this guy," and you got it funded. It went out, and that just shows there are people there who don't care that you made that
yeah,
on
no,
zero
that's it.
budget
Yeah,
up
and people
in
don't care where
fucking
you're from
Kunkan.
either.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh,
Like the distributors for my new stuff are all like American. They don't even know where Wales is. Like they don't know
Wales,
Wales as a country.
England,
Yeah,
usually.
exactly. It's like they don't even know. They don't know it's part of the UK. They just think the whole of the UK is England, and like they don't even know that it's a country really. But for me, if I can use the service then to get a Welsh film on there alongside all these American films, that's great for me because somebody's going to stumble along and be like, "Oh, okay, I didn't even know that was a thing," or "What's this weird accent? Why do those people sound like that?" And I feel like the more Welsh filmmakers don't feel restricted by being in Wales and don't look to Cardiff for the only solution for
Yeah.
filmmaking and use the internet to put stuff out themselves, the better the whole thing will be because more people will see like Welsh films and Welsh people in film, and it won't go through this commercial filter. Then you'll be able to see like real people.
And I know it sounds really wanky, but like doing things like that organically is how you find your people and find your audience. You
Yeah,
People aren't watching a film because it's popped up on the front of their Amazon Prime trending today. They're finding it because it's been recommended by a mate, or they've
yeah,
found it in some kind of weird Discord chat, or all these networks that we're all part of. And I
yeah,
feel like you probably get a better response from those people, and then that's how I think how everything grows.
yeah,
um and I automatically am such a twat. If I know something's made by a Welsh person, is set in Wales, it's got Welsh actors in it, I automatically give it like an extra star on a
right.
rating. I just
Yeah,
if it's Welsh, I get really excited. Everything's better.
yeah,
Like you
yeah, me
mentioned
too.
Welsh directors. Have you got any like favorite Welsh directors or movies or like Welsh set films? Doesn't matter if you don't. Just curious. So I've been working on
I've
my list. I've been working on my list of like Welsh movies and filmmakers.
Off the top of my head, it's really hard. The only Welsh filmmakers that I know are like my friends,
Hmm.
basically. Um, so James, who you're going to talk to on here, James Plum from Mad
Yeah.
Science Films, he did a good feature called Little Monster. A guy that he started out working with called Andrew Jones was a guy that I worked for a few years on his features, which are on Netflix now. It's like The Haunting of Markham Castle is one that we did
Oh
in
yeah.
Melbourne by Port Talbot. Curse of Halloween Jack, that was all shot in Swansea.
Hmm.
Um, Sean Thomas, who's a friend that I work with on quite a few things. He's done a few shorts and has gone the kind of BBC route. He did a short called Dirt Ash Meat that was cool, and he's just finished another short called Mauled by a Dog that's going to be coming out soon, and has kind of been doing the festival circuit that's
I
shot
think
in the
I've heard of
valleys.
that.
Yeah, it's really cool. I'm not sure exactly where he shot it, but it was very valleys.
Oh, sick.
Um, and Chips from Submarine is in it. Oh, Submarine as well.
I still haven't
Like,
seen that. It was
I
one I
love
meant to
Submarine.
watch when it came out, and
Mm,
just I don't know how I just missed it. It was one of those things. I was like, it's the valleys. I need to watch it, and then just
it's cool.
didn't.
Yeah, it's cool. And Darren, the guy who plays Chips, is in Sean's films, and he's like working on new stuff now that's really exciting as well. Like, he's definitely somebody to keep an eye out for on the more like larger budget side of things soon.
Sick. Well, thank you very much. I've obviously mentioned Weed Killer. Um, do you want to tell people a little bit more about like the plan you've got for Weed Killer? Do people need to keep an eye out for anything?
Yeah, so I've got this really crazy shot and video feature called Weed Killer coming out soon. It's going to be out on physical, which you'll be able to get probably from me. If you follow me on Instagram at ritual_video, then I'll tell you where you can get it from. I'm sorting out distribution for that at the moment, but I also have 2 new found footage features coming out soon, which will be on a streaming service, and I expect you'll be able to watch them for free. The one is called Wishing Well Road, which is shot around Rogerstone, where I live, and is actually shot on mostly on the route where I walk my dog every morning, and I wrote it in my head while I was walking my dog. And the other one is called Monster Hunt, which is shot again Newport, Rogerstone, little bits of Merthyr, and that's a found footage feature, and that's going to be out on streaming services soon as well.
It's almost like you've got a special interest in monsters and cryptids.
I mean, I'm found footage. Like, and it's also, I just want to use my Bigfoot costume as much as possible. Like, I was in a nature reserve in Newport the other day by my parents' house at like 10 in the morning, pulling on, it was like pissing down, and I was pulling on this Bigfoot costume with this cold, and I was so happy. Like,
See, this is why your work speaks to me, because I fucking love found footage. I love cryptids, absolutely love them. I need you to make a Mothman film, and I need to be Mothman. I'm not 12 foot tall and jacked, but I could be Mothman.
If Monster Hunt goes well, then I think we're going to do a series of it that I'm writing at the moment with Sean, the guy I mentioned earlier. And there's going to be a Tunnel of the Mothman episode in there that I'm writing at the moment.
If I'm not involved in some way, I will disown you and we will no longer be friends, because I'll just be there going, "What can I help with, Tom? There's a Mothman. I'm excited." But no, check out Tom on social media, like you said. Is it still open? You currently got people can buy like producer credits and help crowdfund towards like the end of the production of Weed Killer. So is that still up?
Yeah. There's a special thanks credits you can grab to kind of support me, and there's also a producer credit and an executive producer credit that you can buy to help me license some music that I'm trying to license for the film. One of the problems of being really broke and trying to make features is I can't pay for music, and I really want this piece of music for this montage in the middle of the film, so I'm trying to put some money together for
Fucking
that.
love a montage.
So yeah, that's my Big Cartel store, which is you can get to for my ritual thing, and also I've just started a podcast called Analog Atrocities that you can check out too, which is me talking to super low budget shot and video filmmakers who make B movies like I make, but obviously they're a lot better.
No. And you got a Patreon? You're very busy right now. You're doing a fucking lot of stuff.
I've got a Patreon for that now as well, yeah. And monthly I'll be putting up stuff on there and bonus stuff. And there's a new episode of the podcast every month. And I've already recorded 10 episodes.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, so everything's like the next year of that podcast is made.
Oh man, I gotta pay every month for a whole year. But no, like, be careful you don't burn yourself out, man. Like, you're so fucking busy.
It's too late. Yeah, it's too late, man. I'm just there all the time. I swing between I can do everything and I can't speak to anyone or open the curtains.
Yeah, I get that. Where I'm like, one day I'll wake up and I'll be like, I'm gonna do all these things, and then I don't leave the house for like 4 days and try and avoid talking to people. Well, thank you so much for having a little chatter to me. We've talked way more than I planned, but we always have a good natter. But no, it's been lush. Thank you for talking about film and horror in Wales, and I will keep everybody updated with what's going on with Weed Killer. See, you're working on so many fucking films. I couldn't remember which one we were talking about.
Yeah, I know.
Because I'm really excited to see the final thing, and it's just fucking great. I love it so much. It just makes me happy. It's a me film. It's silly. It's gross. It's funny, and
I feel like it's a skater film too. If you're a skater and you watch this and you're in Wales, message me. Let's put it on VHS in your skate shop, because I feel like it's the type of film that used to be in skate shops back in the day.
Absolutely nailed it with that. That's exactly that kind of vibe of like, we're all just fucking about, we're having a laugh.
Yeah.
But like a bit a bit more, oh, what's the word I'm trying to think of, Tom?
Shit.
No, not professional, like
Better.
polished. That's the word. It's like,
Polished, yeah.
It's got that,
Yeah.
like, DIY punk, like, gnarly
Yeah.
vibe of just like, right, we're just going to go out, get our cameras, we're going to have fucking fun, we're going to do a load of stupid shit, but, like, it's been done with thought and care.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say. It's a compliment.
Yeah.
There's a compliment there somewhere. It just didn't sound like it. But no, it's like them, but better.
Yeah. So if you like
Lush.
skate videos, you might like Weed Killer.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you like acting by people who've got a GCSE in drama. And you've got a BAFTA award-winning actor in it as well. So, you know, you've got pretty accomplished actors in it. Especially
alongside
you, though.
Me,
but honestly,
bandages.
You're the scenes, again, not to give spoilers, but like the scenes at the beginning where you were writing in your diary, I fell head over heels in love with that character because he's so fucking sweet. He's just he's just a sweet little guy.
That's what I thought. And the mouth is from the guy from, there's a guy in Brassic with a mouth that's like, I can't remember his name. He's a bad guy with glasses.
I never saw it, but I know of it.
Yeah. I just want to make a really soft, lovely guy, so when everything goes wrong, you're like, oh man, why is it going to happen to him?
I know, I just straight away I was like, I fucking love this guy. He loves his plants so much. I love gardening. I love my plants. I love this guy. He's fucking great. And and you've got the line in the trailer as well about like never mess with another man's plants. And I'm just like, yes,
I don't know if that should be the tagline, actually.
That would be excellent, actually.
Yeah, maybe that should be
that
the
would work
tagline.
really well, because people would be like, what the fuck is this? And then they'll be watching it and going, what the fuck is this? But in the best possible way, being like, what am I watching? I fucking love this. It's
Hopefully
brilliant.
Welsh people can watch it and be like, oh, this is really ridiculously Welsh.
It is so Welsh.
That would make me happy, yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much. I've had a lovely time chatting again. And we'll catch up soon and I'll share all the links to all the projects.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Hello. I hope you enjoyed the chat with Tom. I could talk to Tom for hours. He's such a good egg. And yeah, I just can't wait to see everything that he's going to come out with over the next couple of years. It's going to be absolutely amazing. But next up, we've got the wonderful, wonderful Nia from Abattoir Film Festival. I absolutely have to admit that I'm a bit of a fangirl for Nia. And I do say to her during the episode, because I followed her for a while and enjoyed her writing, and she did an audio commentary on the really lovely Martyrs release that I have. And I just think she's the coolest. She's doing amazing things for horror in Wales. So enjoy my lovely chat with Nia. Shemai, Nia, thanks so much for coming on the podcast. How are you?
Hi, Sam. I'm not too bad. I've got a little bit of a cough, but I think I'm holding out today.
Well, hopefully you'll be okay. I'm just getting over a cold, so the last thing I recorded was me full of a cold. So I think everybody's a bit poorly at the moment.
Yeah, I think so.
So I really wanted you to come on and have a little chat with me because you are super cool. We've had a few me fangirling moments. But Nia is part of an amazing Welsh festival called Abattoir. Do you want to introduce yourself a little bit and let the listeners know about the festival?
Sure. Yeah. Thank you, and thank you for having me. Like, I'm super happy to come talk with you and get to meet you as well. So it's all cool. Yeah, I'm Nia. Abattoir is a horror film festival that takes place in Aberystwyth, which is in West Wales, for those who don't know. Every year, it's been going for 20 years now. Somehow, that doesn't fathom or compute to me at all that 20 years has gone by. And I've been part of the team that puts that on for most of that 20 years. In the first few years, I was attending as an audience member, and then I did that thing where I go, oh, do you need any help? And then the rest has become history. And yeah, I do a bunch of other kind of film related stuff as well. Abattoir is the main thing when it comes to horror, though.
It's been on my radar since about 2021. A filmmaker friend said, you need to go to Abattoir, it's brilliant. And I remember starting following on Instagram
But every year I'd leave it too late and I'd see the tickets go up and then they'd be gone and I'd be like, oh bugger, next year I'll go. And I've done that every year, so I need to be quick off the mark this year and try and get involved nice and early. The idea for me doing this episode was because I keep getting really excited about being Welsh. And I've spoken to some other people already. Do you feel like, I know you're a different area of Wales to me, so it's probably more patriotic than the valleys, but do you feel like you've always had that instilled in you, that being Welsh is special?
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm from I'm from Northwest Wales originally, so I absolutely have that in my system from the get-go. And I think I have quite a complex relationship with it's why I find it so interesting to talk about, I guess, right? Because I think the concept of any national identity is just inherently complicated and interesting and all of that kind of stuff. So these days, I'm not necessarily mega flag waving, woo, Wales, that kind of thing. But that doesn't mean that I'm not really passionate about Wales and being Welsh and kind of Wales having its place in the world, if that makes sense. But yeah, I mean, it's really interesting to think of Wales as a cinematic entity and as a filmmaking culture and all of that kind of stuff as well. And I think, I say these days, that's kind of where my interest in anything lies more than anything else. So it naturally comes out that I do tend to take quite an interest in kind of film in Wales and so on as well, more than anything.
Do you feel like you were sort of brought up to be artistic and interested in the arts? Because I spoke to a friend who only lives about half an hour away from me, but where he's from, felt very much discouraged to get involved in the arts. And for me, it was always music, poetry, writing and art, everything was really important.
I think for me, so a lot of my family has career-wise has a bit of a medical or nursing care focus, right? So, sciencey and very practical. And then along comes me being I love films. And I'm so fortunate. That's never been discouraged, and I think I'm fortunate in a way that a lot of my kind of Welshness growing up has involved not so much the national Eisteddfod, but Eisteddfods locally growing up. So, I, as with most people in my class, would be doing a bit of reciting poetry, a little bit of singing, and I can't sing for shit, right? But, it would be a thing that you just did. And it was just kind of part of not everyday life, but, it was very normal, I suppose. Weirdly, when I first went to uni, I sort of discouraged myself a little bit. So when I came from North Wales to Aberystwyth for university originally, and I chose to do Celtic studies, although I was already really into film and had a passion there. I was I better do a real subject. And I went for Celtic studies. What was I thinking? But anyway, in my head, I was let me do something serious and academic and what have you. And then 2 years into that, I was kind of you know what? I'm kind of not enjoying this the way that I need to be in order to really make the effort to make getting a worthwhile degree out of it happen. Because for me, if I'm not really into something, I'm kind of, my effort isn't there either, and I feel then that's just a waste of time. So I can remember kind of calling my mum up and being oh, I don't want to be a dropout, which there's nothing wrong with dropping out of anything, by the way. But at the time,
3-degree courses.
This is the thing. There is nothing wrong with it, right? But at the time, I can remember just pressurizing myself completely, because this has never come from my parents at all, being I have this whole expectation. My mum was just do you want to do a different course? I'm fortunate, student loans out my eyeballs, but I'm fortunate that I was able to even consider that, but that hadn't occurred to me. And then I was oh yeah, I could actually just do something else. So then I switched to film studies, and then it's that was that then, because the year I started my film studies degree, and then that was the same year that Abattoir started. And for me, when people ask me about being a horror fan, I'm not one of those people that was like sneaking downstairs to watch like video nasties and things like that. I was very much I've always been a nerd and into genre stuff. I've liked sci-fi, I've liked fantasy, I've liked whatever. So horror's been in the mix. But I think it was the combination of actually following my interest in film specifically, coupled with the chance to get to see like horror films on a big screen in a festival context, that made me go, oh, wait a minute. This is the thing I really like and really enjoy. So it's kind of all like bubbled under, and like all roads have kind of led that way. And the weird thing is, I genuinely believe, like, I'm so grateful for those 2 years of Celtic studies, because if I think if I had gone, oh, I want to do film studies, I'm not sure I'd have looked at Aberystwyth necessarily. So without doing that sort of Celtic studies diversion or prelude first, I'm not sure I would have ended up here. And then, you know, Abattoir wouldn't have played out the way it would have for me, and all this kind of stuff. So yeah, it's kind of an interesting thing to reflect on, actually, that kind of journey. And the way that, because I think the Celtic studies is kind of ties back to the idea of wanting to do something quite Welsh as well, or Wales related. So yeah, it all kind of mixes in a little bit.
Yeah, I wanted to do business Welsh at university, because I thought, right, great, I'm going to go off, I'm going to become fluent, I'm going to go work in the business world of Wales. And then I just sort of ended up doing a different degree. And I actually ended up, well, God, however many years ago, come into Aberystwyth and studying distance, doing library science.
Oh, cool.
It's lush. I love Aberystwyth, which is another reason I need to get to Abertoir, because it's lovely up there.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I'm still finding my place and what I want to do when I grow up. Do you find that there is a lot of you know, from learning the Celtic studies, I'm woefully behind on my knowledge of like Welsh folklore and stuff. I've picked up a couple of books and I want to learn, because it's fascinating. Do you find that there is a lot of it woven into film in Wales? Not necessarily horror, just film in general, because it's something that I've probably not noticed so much. And now I'm trying to be more aware of it. I'm picking up more on those sorts of things.
Yeah, I think, weirdly, it's not as present as you might imagine. Like, it's definitely there, but I find it's either really overtly there, or it's kind of, I don't know, it feels to me like we've not fully taken advantage of like Welsh folk tales and Welsh folklore and all of that in the way that it's like ready to be sort of adapted, modernized, incorporated, whatever it might be. So I find like something like Gwledd so interesting, because it's in there, but it's kind of just in the mix. And the thing I really like about that film is like the family itself feels so archetypally like Welsh in different ways, in that you've got the MP, you've got the musician, you've got the sports guy, you've got all these kind of like quite Welsh coded but very accessible if you're not Welsh or not like familiar with tropes or whatever it might be. That's really nice. And then you've got that very like earthy, folkloric, supernatural element in the mix as well. But you know, I genuinely think there's so much scope, because when you think like the thing that always strikes me is that in the Mabinogi, you've got in the tale of one of them, you've got the Pair Dadeni, right, which is the resurrection cauldron, which literally they, on a battlefield, they chuck dead soldiers in it so they can come back and fight again. And I'm like, you've got zombies right there. Like, they're right there in some of the earliest, like, you know, Welsh, myths and legends and so on. And yeah, that's kind of one of the reasons I'd love to see more film from Wales in general that is actually drawing on those inspirations. I think like it doesn't have to be a straight up, you know, Mabinogi adaptation with like medieval sets or whatever, but just something that kind of draws more on those things. I think there's so much opportunity there.
Yeah. Mentioning the Mabinogi, this is a, oh my God, is that Mr. Blobby on your mug?
It's murderous, Mr. Blobby.
Mr. Blobby.
Look.
Oh, I love Mr. Blobby. He's my favourite.
Evil.
I have a big
badge that says Mr. Blobby is my boyfriend.
I love that.
I
I
love
couldn't
him.
resist evil Blobby was less like, I need that mug.
I don't think he's evil. I think he's just doing what he deserves.
Yeah, he can do what he wants.
He can do what he wants. Slight tangent there. I'm always excited when I see Mr. Blobby. Forgot what I was going to say.
All right.
Oh, Mabinogi. I keep wanting to read the stories because I've never read the stories. But every time I look, when I go into like a Welsh bookshop, or I went to St. Fagans the other day, and they had copies, they're always kids versions, and I never find a nice adults version. If you know of any, please tell me.
Yeah, I'll there's definitely some quite famous translations of the Mabinogi, but like from the Victorian era, where everyone was kind of doing that whole like romantic Celticism thing. But to be, I mean, I haven't
try and read it in Welsh. That would be a nice challenge for me.
Yeah, I haven't like touched anything like that since I was like at school. Well, no, I guess the first couple of years of Celtic studies probably were doing various things because it was a mix of language and literature, you see. So it was kind of really a bit of everything up to the point that I was doing it anyway.
I'd like that.
Yeah, it was the first year I loved, by the way, because it was quite introductory, but it was when it started getting more in depth that I was just like, you know what, this isn't like, I'm interested, but I'm not interested enough to be doing another year or two of this type of thing. So if you can find a shorter course, absolutely go for it.
Yeah, I always have that burning urge to learn more and to study, but then I've also got, I think I've got the autism is like, yes, must learn all the things about the things I'm interested in, and then the ADHD can't be bothered and just runs amok, which I think is why I dropped out of 3 different degree courses. With the festival, obviously it's been really successful. It's been going for 20 years now. Do you feel like it's an integral part of like film culture in Wales and horror film culture? Because I hear about it spoken with such reverence, and I know I haven't managed to get there yet, but
it's all right.
There's not much in the way of a horror community in Wales, I don't feel like.
Yeah. It's you know what, I find a question like that quite difficult to answer because
Sorry.
No, not at all. It's an interesting question, but I find it difficult to answer because I think both me and Gaz, the festival director, like Abattoir's his baby, right? I think we both think of it as just like, oh, the little horror festival we do up at the art centre. When obviously that's not what it is anymore, right? That it has a life of its own.
Everywhere.
Yeah, they do. And, we don't sort of think that to sort of belittle the work we do, because we take it very seriously, obviously. But hopefully, obviously. But I think I still don't think I've really been able to adjust to the idea that it is its own concept. It's its own thing that has its own profile that people like I can't remember the first time that somebody who I didn't know and had no Kevin Bacon direct link to type thing was like, oh yeah, cool, Abattoir, I know that. And I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean you know that? What are you talking about? And then they said something about something that we had on or whatever. And I was like, how do you know that? And it makes sense naturally that something that's been going for 20 years has that kind of a profile, I guess. So in some ways, it feels wrong to say when you ask, do you think it's integral? It almost feels really wrong to be like, yes, Abattoir is super integral to horror in Wales. But at the same time, I guess it almost has to be to some extent because, we're really fortunate that we've got multiple horror festivals in Wales, but that they're all relatively new still. And that Abattoir has been going this long. And it does, like you say, people regularly travel from places in Europe to come to Abattoir, which still blows my mind. When there are so many other amazing horror festivals out there, between the places in Europe people come from and Aberystwyth, there's definitely several other festivals that they pass along the way, So yeah, and I think it's an interesting one because you sort of see these, I don't want to say peaks and troughs necessarily, but a few years back, well, probably more years back than I think now, but you did have things like Scardiff, which was a convention, and I want to say they were like mid-10s that was going on, or maybe early 10s. You had Fractured Visions Festival happening in Cardiff. So, you know, along the years, there has been activity alongside Abattoir for sure. And I think we're very fortunate in that we are based in a very supportive venue, for example, that we sort of have their support to keep happening every year, that we are fortunate enough to secure funding to run it the way we do every year and so on. So, you know, we're privileged in many ways to be able to have lasted this long. And, you know, I think I think in Wales generally, there's maybe, I want to say 4 or 5 film festivals now that are kind of either almost 20 or 20 something years going. And, you know, that feels like a small number, but I also feel like for a country the size of Wales, that's also kind of punching above its weight a little. And what's interesting is they're all specialist festivals. And I think that's important because I think specialist audiences or niche audiences maybe have that extra drive to keep supporting something. I don't know, because it's kind of, you know, when you're a nerd for something or really interested in something, I feel like there's more passion there, perhaps, than something that is more generalized, I guess. I don't know if that remotely answered your question.
No, it did. Because I'm sort of in a place now where I'm wanting to encourage and foster more of that sort of community in South Wales, because there may be something about that I don't know about, but you know, we've got Cardiff, our capital city, got great links to London and all these other big cities, but there doesn't feel like there's anything happening. So it's that, again, that fight between the autism and the ADHD. The autism's like,
Sure.
yes, let's do it. Let's run a festival. Let's start some kind of like monthly meetup, but then the ADHD can't be bothered. Is there anything that you've learned along the way that sort of you could impart to, well, to me specifically, but just anyone who wants to like foster a bit more community in Wales or anywhere?
Yeah, I mean, it is a difficult one, and I think Abattoir's in a slightly odd position because when Gaz started it, it was very much that kind of thing. So he would go to, you know, horror events, festivals in London, but he just couldn't be asked with the travel, right? So he was like, what if
I'm sick of it.
This is it, right? So he was like, what if I do something here? And it happened to coincide with when Robin Hardy was touring his Cowboys for Christ book. So Gaz was like, I'm going to get him to the Arts Centre, which is where we're based in Aber. I'm going to show The Wicker Man. We'll have a book event, and I'll show a few other horror films that weekend, and we'll give it a funny name. I'm going to call it Abattoir, and let's see what happens.
It's a genius name.
People love the name. Like,
it's genius.
Who doesn't love a pun? Do you know? It's just... Okay, fun story about Abattoir. We once got a letter from a water company wondering why we hadn't like registered our sewage system as an abattoir and that we were going to get in trouble. And we were like, what is wrong? What? Why have we Gaz has got that letter framed somewhere. Like, genuinely that happened, and we were so confused. But yeah, that the name helps us in many ways. I've lost my train of thought completely by that anecdote. Hang on a minute.
Gaz set it up as like a small community thing.
Local thing, yeah. So, because he didn't want to travel, so he was like, right, well, I can't be the only one in Ceredigion, sparse though the population of Ceredigion across the county is. So, you know, he put on this weekend and people came to it. And then, so he did it again the next year and so on. But by now, the majority of attendees come from outside of, like, I guess our local catchment area or whatever you would want to call it. And furthermore, probably come from outside of Wales, actually. So I'm almost not sure I can like super helpfully answer your question in terms of like starting local in that sense. But I do think that one thing we do very well at Abattoir, in that we get feedback that tells us this from the people who come, is that I don't know, I don't think anyone sets out to do this, but I think there can be an impression about festivals or screenings, whatever it might be, whatever the setup might be, that the person putting them on, hosting, organising, whatever, is like separate from the audience. And like I say, I don't think anyone does it because they want to do that, because why would you? But I think sometimes, like, say if you're in like a massive venue, sometimes you're like, it's physically harder to be close to your audience, right? Whereas we're quite lucky in that our auditorium, up until a couple of years ago when we had to move to a bigger one, our auditorium was quite small. We're in an art centre, we're only using one screen, we're not doing multiple screens. We're introducing the films, we're sat outside when they come out, all that kind of stuff. And you're just there wanting to know what people think of the film, right? And it's that kind of doing something because you love it, I think, like, speaks to people, because you can't fake that very well, I think, or not very readily. And I think that goes a long way as far as like the authenticity of something comes from. And I think that counts for a lot. I mean, for me, as a audience member for something, I guess that would count for a lot. And I think good, I keep wanting to use the word hosting, which doesn't quite seem right, but like, and customer service definitely isn't right either, but good audience care, is super, super important. And I think that comes to a variety of things, like not patronizing the audience in the way you present things, or just like, I think there's a tendency in like special, I'm not going to say this is just horror at all, but any kind of like niche interest, there's always gatekeepers. There's always people who are like, oh, well, I know this, you don't. And it's like, well, even if you do know something and the other person doesn't, who gives a shit? Like, like, what big deal? Loads of other people also know the thing, get over it. And I just think that fostering that kind of atmosphere of just being welcoming and open and warm and a place where people can just enjoy the thing that they're interested in. And this is such a like vague bit of advice, really. This isn't very practical at all. But I think it's really important, and I think it's what gives things like longevity as well. I mean, don't get me wrong, a lot of things like having enough time and energy to do the thing also is and having the budget to do it is also part of the longevity too. But yeah, I think just it's gonna sound so reductive, just being nice to the people that come to your thing is like goes a very long way. And that can look like a lot of different things, like we always try and be really accessible. Like there's so much accessibility information on our website. We have like content guides, we have like, we now use our smaller auditorium as a quiet space because we're in the bigger auditorium, all this kind of stuff, which we've only started doing that very recently. And we're constantly evolving to kind of get better at that as well. So it's all a process.
I think that's probably an inherent part of being Welsh as well, being quite welcoming. As much as I can be very much like, no people, thank you very much. I think we're quite good at being welcoming, and community is important. So yeah, I just want to, like I said, I'm sick of going to London. It'd be really lovely whether it's somewhere in the valleys or somewhere in Cardiff to have something a bit more to feel part of, because I go to Manchester, I go to Leeds, I go to all these places in England to see the horror community. And it'd be nice to have something more local. When it comes to Welsh film, I know Abattoir is very supportive of like the Welsh film industry. Is there anything in particular you look for when you're selecting films, Welsh and otherwise?
Well, I mean,
because you have a good mix, don't you, of like more established older films as well as new films?
Yeah, we do. Our program is, we almost always start from like, it's called the classics, which could be anything from like the 30s to the 90s, although we've only very recently begrudgingly started including films from the 90s because we were always like, no, that's too recent. And we're like, oh no, that's actually ages ago.
It's a long time ago, yeah.
It's a long time ago. So we always almost start building a program around what we call the classics, because I mean, I think I can speak for both me and Gaz when I say we both, like, if we had to pick between this is going to sound so bad, but if we had to pick between watching like a film from the 70s and a new film, we'd probably go, oh, let's just put the film from the 70s on. What that says about us, I don't know. But so we usually build like a theme and like a little bit of skeleton to the festival around that. Then we're looking for the newer stuff. And, you know, we're lucky that we're in November, which means we can, in the sort of cycle of festivals, we can kind of hold on a little bit longer when we're programming for maybe something like big titles that are at, say, London Film Festival or something first, and are looking for that big premiere, and maybe we can then show it, stuff like that. And I mean, for me, I'm always interested in, I'm not necessarily looking for like the most original film ever made, right? You know, I like genre for a reason, because there are tropes oftentimes, right? Whether those tropes are being upended or just recreated in an interesting way, you know, whatever. I do like films that are kind of local in some way, if that makes sense. And by that, I mean local to somewhere. We've always shown like all sorts of like international films at Abattoir. And, you know, I always find, for example, the way other cultures do like ghost stories or demon stories to be really interesting, because it's usually usually unfamiliar to maybe what we're used to seeing from the UK or America or Europe. And I think in a way, that's what I most of all want from a Welsh film, is I kind of want to, in some way, feel the Welshness in it, right? And that could appear in any way, really. It could just be accents of the people performing in it, right? But it could be part of the story. It could be more integral or more kind of key to the way the horror is happening or whatever it might be. And I think it's interesting because we've never set out, rightly or wrongly, to kind of be, oh, we're a Welsh festival, therefore we have to champion any Welsh horror film that gets made. Part of me often thinks maybe we should have done more of that over the years. But then part of me also thinks that's never been kind of our like, I mean, Abattoir doesn't have a brand in that sense, but you know, that's never really, if we had a brand, that wouldn't be it necessarily. But the more I go on, the longer we do it, I think, you know, for me, the more important it is that is in the mix alongside everything else. So yeah, we do certainly try to support Welsh horror where we can. And like I said, I think I'm very broad in my definition of horror. Like, we are at Abattoir, the types of stuff that we shoehorn in and say, no, this is horror. There was a drop of blood on it like 30 minutes in, therefore stop complaining, it's a horror film.
All right.
Yeah, it's horror, it's fine. We do balance it out, obviously. Well, we try to anyway. So yeah, for me, as long as a film is kind of doing something interesting, which sounds so reductive and like basic to say, but I would rather see like a less well made but saying something interesting in its story type film than a really shiny glossy film that doesn't really have anything to say and isn't really doing anything that different. Like, obviously I can find a film like that entertaining, and I'm not sort of completely dismissing that, but if I had to pick, like, I'd take interestingness over, you know, high production values. I mean, I want a film to look half decent, obviously, but, you know, something a bit unusual about a film is more interesting to me.
You're saying about like capturing the place and the local like essence. I keep talking about it. People are probably sick of it, but have you seen Protein?
Yes.
Is it Tony Bird? Like, for me, that stuck out the most in the last couple of years as a film. Like, I love it anyway, but the sense of Wales and Welshness, and regardless of the story, the people and the characters and the atmosphere in that little Valleys town. I know every single one of those people. I've met every single one of those people. And I felt like, even though I'm not doing any of the things that they do in that film, I feel like I see myself represented. That's probably a bad thing, that I see myself represented in some of those characters. But that really captured me.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, you are right to say that was your personal experience, obviously, but I don't think it is bad to see that necessarily, because I think the nice thing about Protein is a lot of them are like these horrible characters, but I think you see these snippets of humanity in all of them, and that's actually really important. Because I think for me, films that lean a little bit like gangstery, I tend to find a little bit boring sometimes because it
at all.
Yeah, but I think Protein does do that really well, and I do think, like you say, the kind of the locality of it goes a long way to kind of support that and bolster it. And I was really fortunate actually. I actually chaired a Q&A after a screening of it down in Carmarthen.
Oh, great.
And it was almost like a little bit of a homecoming kind of screening, almost. A lot of like family and friends of some of the filmmakers were in the audience, which I hadn't actually realised in advance. And I was like, oh, this is so lovely and so warm. And a lot of the questions were like, what was it like filming there? Or, you know, that person there was an extra in the background and, oh, they're my uncle. And what, you know, that I'm making that bit up probably, but, you know, that type of thing. And it was just really nice listening to the filmmakers talking about filming in places they were familiar with, that, you know, they recognized as well, and the again, that kind of warmth and welcomingness is not a word, but, you know, the willingness to help out of the people they were sort of filming around. So, you know, they might be filming on a street and they'd be like knocking on doors going, oh, do you mind that we're just going to be doing it? And they'd be like, oh yeah, let me get you a cup of tea as well while you're at it, type of thing, you know. And that just sums it up. And, you know, I can't remember which one of the guys that was there said it, but they were saying, you know, you can tell when you're filming in Wales as opposed to filming elsewhere, which was really nice to hear. Like, I'm not a production person at all, kind of thing. So it was amazing to hear that in that Q&A. Yeah, and I think highlighting Protein as feeling particularly Welsh is totally right.
Yeah, I had a similar experience. There was a screening for it in Cardiff, and I'd seen it a couple of times at different festivals.
Yeah.
But going to Cardiff and there being a Welsh audience, there probably were non-Welsh people there as well, but there were lots of friends and family again, and it was completely packed, and it felt like a nice community environment, and like you said, warm and welcoming. It was really, really lovely. Are there other Welsh horror films that you'd sort of recommend as not necessarily giving a sense of Welshness, but just whether it's a Welsh director or a Welsh setting? Because I'm trying to make a little list to work through. I'm very, very behind, but I'm always looking for more recommendations.
So, okay. So, I mean, my go-to answer to that is one of my personal obsessions, which is Gwaed ar y Sêr, which is like the OG Welsh language horror film from 1975. I
can't find it. I need to find it.
Matchbox's website, you can stream it from there.
Oh, excellent. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. They also have O'r Dde ar Hen, which is from 1981, which I would recommend both of them, but Gwaed ar y Sêr is a genuine obsession of mine because it is so Welsh. And I think the interesting thing is that it was, I don't think it was ever intended to be a horror film, right? It's intended to be a comedy, which it is. But I'm sure I could make a case for that film as a proto-slasher, okay? And for me, I'm so fortunate that I've spoken twice to the actual director of the film, who is not a fan of his own work in that regard, about it. And he's just like, I can't even believe that people are still interested in this shit, type of thing. Not his exact words, I hasten to add. But, and I'm just like, see, I think you don't like it because you're thinking, oh, the quality wasn't up to the standard of certain other things being made at the time. I like it because it's absolutely the same standard as other films being made at the time that I would watch, which are likely to be independent horror films from 1975, right? Which obviously some of them looked really good, some of them less so. So I think I'm seeing it in a different context. And there's just something I really love about it, about how Welsh the cultural references are, how funny it is, and just how genuinely entertaining it is, really. And we screened it at Abattoir, and I was so curious as to how the audience would take it, because, as I was saying, it's not all Welsh people in that audience, and they were having a whale of a time. They were laughing in all the right places, and I was like, this is great. This is actually universal, even though some of the gags are quite specific. It's not specific to the point of like being exclusionary to people who don't get that. So I love that film. I mean, it's an acquired taste because it is very rough around the edges, really, but I love it. But for like a better made film and a more recent film, I haven't watched it for a while, but it's one I would like to revisit, and one that I think is really interesting and kind of often gets left out of sort of discussions about Welsh horror. And that's Yr Ymadawiad from 2015, or The Passing. So it's directed by Gareth Bryn and stars Anis Elwy, who's in Gwledd as well, Dyfan Dwyfor and Mark Lewis-Jones. And I think the filmmakers themselves were a little bit shy about it being horror. Like, I don't think they wanted to call it a horror film. But to me, it's a horror film. And like I say, I have quite a broad definition, a personal definition of what I think counts as horror. But I think this one definitely is, but not in the kind of like the blood and guts school of horror, let's say. It's something else. But I think that is quite a beautiful film and has a wonderful ending and stands on its own again in the story that it sort of tells, but also has this very sort of like melancholy Welshness to it that I really enjoy. So I think those are like two I would really, really highlight. But there's so I
heard of that one.
Yeah, I think it might be on the BFI player.
Okay.
I think it used to be on their like rentals bit rather than the streaming bit. Yeah, it's really good. Like, I think it deserves a bit more. I would like to revisit it myself actually, but I do think it deserves a bit more love from like horror fans, that one.
I definitely want to watch and try and read more Welsh things. I know we've had little mini conversations in Welsh. I'm trying to keep the language going in my brain because it switches off, and I know I can understand a lot more than I can say. So I do need to try and watch some more Welsh things. So I can't remember the name. The first one you said, lots of people recommended that one. I asked for recommendations, so that's definitely on my list to watch. And I did watch Gwledd on St. David's Day. I was like, look at me being a good Welsh person. I'm watching a Welsh film on St. David's Day. Very proud of myself. So yeah, I'm going to be on my little mission now to sort of collect Welsh stories and films. Also going to be trying really hard. I'm going to try, Nia, to get a little bit of community going in whatever way that looks down here. But thank you so much for coming on. It's been really interesting.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, no problem at all. It's been a pleasure. As you know, I'm a fan of your writing and your work and everything you've done with Abattoir, because I've been very excited about the fact that you live on my shelves in one of my favourite physical media releases ever, my Beautiful Martyrs box set, which, congratulations and well done.
Thank you.
What an honour.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, like, when I got the email asking me to do that, I was like, wait, what? Oh my God, yes.
Martyrs?
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you cry? I would have cried if somebody emailed me to do that.
I think I might have, like, screamed a little bit, but yeah, what an opportunity that was. I was so daunted, though, because, like, I was a little bit scared to revisit the film in a way, because I hadn't watched it for years. So I'm like, yeah, I'm a fan of Mars. I flipping love that film. And then I was like, what if I watch it now and hate it? Like, obviously I didn't. But there was this brief moment where I was like, oh, what if my tastes have changed over the past 10 years or something? No, absolutely had not. It's still a masterpiece, obviously. So yeah, that was really quite an honour, that one.
Is brilliant. It made me think about loads of different things that I sort of went, I've never noticed that tiny detail, or I've never thought about how that links. And that's why I love physical media, because we get these things like commentary tracks and essays and get us to look at film in a different way. So thank you.
Absolutely. Oh, you're very welcome.
It sounds weird to say thank you for doing a nice commentary track, but it's the kind of stuff that makes my heart happy, being able to watch one of my favourite films in a different way, with somebody else giving me like extra thoughts and commentary and thought. Oh my God, I said thoughts twice, but you know what I mean.
I totally know what you mean.
Having that extra, well, it's literally bonus content, and it's literally bonus, and it's wonderful. So thank you so much for that. Is there anything you want to plug? Where could people find your work? Is there anything you're working
Ooh.
on that you're excited about at the moment?
Okay, so the next thing Abattoir is up to is a collaboration with Cardiff Animation Festival.
Amazing.
So look out for that. I think it's just the details have just come out on that one. Abattoir.co.uk has all the updates for Abattoir. We have a newsletter. I always say we have all the socials, but Facebook and Instagram are the main ones I focus on these days because there's too many.
There are too many.
Yeah, and then for me, like I'm on Instagram, I guess, is where I post things, and then like the bits of work I do are a bit all over the place, to be totally honest with you. But I tend to share them on my Instagram, which is at Stone Cipher. Yeah, I don't know what else to plug. Oh, the Abattoir Letterboxd. I when I need an outlet to write something, I stick it on the Abattoir Letterboxd. There are other people that write on there too. And we do actually have a series currently which is focused on Welsh horror. It's a sporadic series. A few of us have been writing a few pieces focusing on different films. So yeah.
And is that on Letterboxd?
It's on Letterboxd, yes.
I follow Abattoir on Letterboxd,
Yeah.
but I never look at the writing on there, and I really should.
I've got to be honest with you, I don't fully like understand the best way to kind of use the platform in terms of promoting that sort of material on there. So yeah, but it is on there.
Excellent. Well, I shall keep an eye out for it. Thank you so much for coming on. It's been lovely to talk to you properly, finally.
Likewise, yeah.
And yeah, go check out Abattoir, go follow. All the links will be in the show notes underneath. And yeah, thank you so much, Nia. Diolch.
Brilliant. Thank you. Diolch yn fawr iawn.
How lush is Nia? She's brilliant. So next up, we've got James from Mad Science Films. James is a good egg and an honorary Welsh person, having moved here many, many years ago, but is making films in Cardiff and doing some really fun, interesting stuff. So we had a really great chat. So here is James.
Hello, James. How are you?
Hey, Sam. Yeah, I'm really good, thanks. Thanks for having us.
No problem. Thanks for coming on. Would you like to introduce yourself to the listeners and tell them a little bit about who you are and what you do?
I will try, yeah. So I'm James Plum. I'm one half, let's say the bottom half of Mad Science Films. We're a South Wales-based production company, pretty much specialising in horror, comedy, a bit of sci-fi sometimes as well. And we've been going a very long time now. So yeah, we need a bit of a rest and a bit of that.
Well, thanks for coming on to talk about horror in Wales, because that's how we got to know each other. Was from, oh goodness me, what film festival would it have been? I think it was Screams by the Sea.
Oh.
No, was it? Or
Romford? Were you?
I don't think it was Romford. I saw
Horror on Sea?
Horror on Sea. There we go. There was something to do with the sea. You remembered. I saw Virus Detected as part of that, and we touched base. This would have been last January, February, I think, and we've kept in touch since, which is always lovely. So when I decided that I absolutely had to talk to a bunch of Welsh people about Welsh things, I knew I wanted you on, so thank you very much. So yeah, that first film, can you tell me a little bit about Virus Detected and your role and involvement in it?
Yeah, sure. So Virus Detected is like a horror sci-fi comedy anthology. I was invited onto it as part of many other filmmakers by the overarching producer, a lovely guy called Chris Josty. I'd worked with Chris previously. He'd been an actor on a few different things I'd worked on. And he liked what we were doing, and I liked Chris. So yeah, we were invited on. This all started like in the dark days of lockdown. So the initial meeting we had with a bunch of other filmmakers was back in the early days of Zoom, when Zoom was still a novelty. And the idea behind Virus Detected overall was that weird electrical storm causes various electronic devices to kind of come to life. So the way that each filmmaker was assigned, what object they were given that was going to come to life was via a Zoom call. Chris kind of picked like objects out of a hat effectively, I made a really bad joke at the start of it, which was, as you may tell, I'm not entirely socially, well, I'm pretty socially awkward. So,
Me too. It's all
good,
good.
good.
You're in good company on a podcast for autistics and ADHD people. You're
Fantastic,
fine.
good to know. But yeah, so in order to break the ice in my really bad way, so in order to break the ice, I kind of went, "Hi, I'm James Plum, and I'm really hoping the object I get is a vibrator." As luck would have it, the object that we had that was pulled from the hat was a toy. And at first, Chris was like, "I'm really sorry, we got you a toy, not a vibrator." And I said, "Well, Chris, I think we're okay. I think we can make that work." And then by the end of the Zoom call, when everybody else was working out the details, me and Jim, my producing partner, we'd already kind of brainstormed basically what was going to happen in this film about a killer vibrator. And I pride ourselves for being the first ever sex positive killer sex toy. Because that was something that it's very easy, and you can almost imagine how the film's going to go if you make the joke about a killer vibrator film. But we wanted to do something that was a little bit more fun, and sex positive really. There's no sort of kink shaming involved in the film.
For people who are watching this on video would have been seeing me smiling the last couple of minutes, because I knew where this was going straight away, obviously, because I asked the question. But I'm not just saying this because James is on. The toy was my favourite segment in the whole film because it was so funny. And I feel like Welsh humour has a very different flavour to it than other humour, and it was just so funny. And there's quite a lot of Welsh contributors, I think, in the film overall, wasn't it?
So I think three out of the 6 overall ended up being Wales based. So Chris himself had a short, and he then also co-directed the linking segments, the scenes with the DJ. And then Sam Rush did Love Toast as well, which is another absolutely batshit crazy short film as well. So in terms of the running order, Chris decided to pair the toy with Love Toast as well. So that's kind of a nice Welsh double bill there.
So the toy was hilarious. There were some ridiculous things in it, which I won't divulge because I want people to go watch it. But there's a very clear link between another short film that I've seen that you've done then, which can you share a little bit about the link between the 2 films, or is that spoiler territory?
No, absolutely, more than happy to. And again, I love spoiling my own stuff. So not only is most of the people who worked on the toy reunited for our latest short, which was God Squad. The other link was in the killer sex toy film. We had you've got to have a talking vibrator, isn't it? You can't have a killer sex toy thing without the opportunity for dialogue. And then Lucas, who was our scriptwriter that we've worked with quite a few times, he decided to introduce a talking crucifix, which then we decided to name the Cross 5000s, named after its spiritual cousin, the Thrust 5000, which I'm told by our technical advisor is unfortunately actually the name of a product on Lovehoney. So we went into yes. We had a technical advisor who worked for Lovehoney. We ignored all of their advice. But then we found out afterwards that there was also a bit of a clash with the Thrust 5000, but I'm sure we'll be fine. I'm sure Lovehoney,
I'm sure they were inspired by the film. I'm sure they saw the film, were inspired by it, and I bet it's not as good as yours. It probably doesn't talk, does it?
I mean, I'm not sure. I don't think so, and we're pretty sure it doesn't connect to Spotify either. So,
well, I think yours wins. But God Squad. Tell the listeners a little bit about God Squad, because I loved it.
Oh, cheers. So God Squad again was just another excuse for me and Lucas and Jim to work together again. I actually had a completely different idea that I sent to Lucas, and I said, "Oh, do you think this could work as a feature?" And he said, "Yeah, no, that's pretty good. I've got an idea. Can I run it by you?" And so he run it by me as a buddy cop film, but instead of cops, they're exorcists. And I was like, son of a bitch, we're doing that one. We're going to do your idea. It's much better than mine. So, yeah, we kind of reteamed. The project overall is supposed to be a feature, so there is a feature-length script, but the film that we're kind of touring around with at the moment is a short film. It's effectively, give or take, the first 15 minutes of a feature. And yeah, we would absolutely love to, kind of shoot the rest of it, because as weird as God Squad the short gets, it gets a lot weirder in the feature film. So it goes to some very weird places.
Oh, I can imagine, because it goes weird places in the short, but it's one of those things that it works perfectly as a short, but also they just go to the next place, and then the next load of absolute tomfoolery happens, and then that's the next bit of the film. So it works perfectly as a short and a movie. Oh, I want a full feature, please. I know you do too, clearly, but that would be delightful. Is it still doing the festival circuit, or is it sort of come to the end
we
now?
actually had what we think is, in terms of what we've submitted to, the final film. So that was end of March, and that was at the Pigeon Laugh Film Festival in Cardiff.
Oh, in Cardiff.
Yeah. So that's kind of nice.
I didn't realise you were there until afterwards, because somebody else I know was there as well, and I was like, oh, balls.
Well, unfortunately, we only found out about a fortnight before the festival had started, and by that point, because I've got kids, I'd already made like Easter holiday plans, so could not go myself. But it was nice to be able to kind of finish the festival run back in like our collective hometown. And I do know like quite a few of the cast and crew were able to go, so it was nice for them as well.
Oh, that's good.
Because otherwise we've been touring around all over the UK with it, which has been loads of fun. I haven't done festivals for a while, but between Virus Detected and God Squad, it's been an opportunity for me to kind of check out what film festivals there are nowadays. And like met some absolutely wonderful people, like the organisers, other filmmakers, and just lovely horror film fans as well, who've bizarrely really kind of connected with what we've done. Nice, because you never know, when you're working on something, whether it's going to land or not. But it's lovely watching our stuff with the drunk audience and hearing them appreciate it.
I can imagine a drunk audience really, really enjoying both of those shorts, because they're both really silly, but like intelligently done. Like they're not just stupid stuff to laugh at. There's actual references to things, and like with God Squad, if you've seen The Exorcist, you're gonna absolutely bloody love God Squad, because there's so many references in there, and it is just, it feels like a love letter. I'm guessing you are a fan of The Exorcist.
I am.
Or is that just a complete accident and it just comes across as one?
No, so total fan of The Exorcist. What I will say is I'll kind of quantify it by saying it's the first Exorcist is, and again this is a little bit hot take, so I apologize.
Oh, we love a hot take.
It's the only good exorcism film, really. Like, I really want there to be other great exorcism films, but they always kind of either have to try subvert or just simply homage The Exorcist. Whereas, we're trying to do both at the same time in a loving, very spoofy kind of way. I kind of think, The Exorcist said everything that needs to be said about exorcism films. I wish that wasn't the case. And the way we're tackling it is very much kind of smashing up like the comedy genre against the horror genre, and taking kind of like the mundane kind of day-to-day existence of what we imagine being a cop/exorcist is, with the weird supernatural shit that they do actually have to deal with. And you get a flavor of that in the short, but it's expanded upon like massively in the feature. And that's kind of like the tightrope we're trying to walk with the humor in it as well. So again, you hear about like a comedy about exorcisms, and you kind of think Repossessed, which, as growing up, Repossessed with Leslie Nielsen was one of my favorite films. But we're very much trying to be as aggressively stupid as that film, but also trying to mine different bits of humor than Repossessed did. And
I've never seen that, so
it's really
didn't know that was a thing.
It's really hard to get rid of nowadays. I don't think it's yeah, I don't think it's available streaming anywhere. But yeah, well worth checking. It's very much Naked Gun, but with exorcists.
I've also not seen Naked Gun. Loads of these films. I have seen Hot Shots Part 2,
Excellent.
but all of those sort of like spoofy comedy takes on different genre films from like the 80s and 90s. Haven't seen any of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, maybe I'll give that a watch. But I feel like yours is going to be better.
Well, I hope so. Yeah, I hope.
Even if you haven't got Leslie Nielsen.
I mean.
So you were saying about festivals. I know you've done quite a lot of them. Have you done many Welsh festivals? Because I know we were talking about the fact that I've had some Welsh festival friends on this episode as well, which is lovely.
Yeah.
Do you find the Welsh audiences take to the shorts better because they feel so inherently Welsh? Or I'm sure they're funny to everyone everywhere, but do Welsh people find it even funnier?
So the feedback we've had, because we've been to a few, the film has been to a few film festivals, but due to me breaking my foot last year, and then like having scheduling issues this year, I haven't actually been to any of the Welsh ones. So I've travelled much further afield with the film.
Just haven't been to the local ones.
Yeah, but the feedback we've had is that it plays well, just as well in Wales as it does outside. So I think, although it's got a Welsh flavour to it, I think the jokes are very universal still, and it plays. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure. Hopefully, enough people find the humour relatable universally. But I think one thing that we do really well in Wales is our humour does translate, like overseas as well as, across the rest of the UK. So I think that does help.
I mean, you only got to look at things like Gavin and Stacey and how that's been popular all over the world, but still feels very Welsh. And I think absolutely it is universally funny, but this is part of why this episode's come around. I've become very like focused on Wales and Welshness, and I automatically think everything that's come out of Wales is like at least 10% better than anything else.
Yeah.
And I always feel like Welsh stuff is...
That's been proven.
Sorry, go on.
I was just going to say, scientifically, I think that has been proven. I think it's about 15.
Yeah. Yeah, like I just think the comedy is a different level of comedy. The sense of place in productions seems much more considered. I feel like there's a lot more heart in like productions and things. Acting, I feel like performances are a lot more... gusto seems like a weird word to use, but like I feel like Welsh actors just give something more. And again, I know this is because I'm fucking mental and I just think everything from Wales is better. But I'm just fully in my like embracing Wales and Welshness moment right now. Do you have any particular favourite Welsh movies, Welsh horror movies?
Yeah, I mean, probably. Oh God, I don't want to offend the filmmakers by saying that they're probably deep cuts, because I kind of like stuff that was like 10, 15 years ago, and also they're pretty much done by my friends. So there was. Oh God, this is going to age me. I think it was.
Oh, we've had recommendations from the 70s, so you're all
good.
good.
Yeah. No, I'm not that old. But so from probably about, I think it was about 10 years ago it came out, director called Phil Escott. He put together a feature film called Cruel Summer. I don't know if you're aware of that one.
I know of it, I haven't seen it, and I know Phil. I think I put my teeth in. I think I follow Phil on Instagram, because I definitely recognise the name, but I haven't seen the film.
Definitely worth tracking down. Frustratingly, I think, with the exception of loads of horror documentaries, which he's done since, so he did the found footage phenomenon. He did another one as well. I'm sure he did one on Texas Chainsaw, but the title is escaping me right now. That's the only feature he's directed. He's a massive horror fan. Again, he kind of started making stuff around about the same time as me. I believe he's producer on a South Wales feature that's being shot now by Red Ruin Productions. I think the director's Ian Smith, and that's called Capture. So I've been following them on Instagram, Red Ruin Productions, and what they're putting together looks absolutely amazing. So anything that
cool.
Phil's done, I think Phil's production company is 441 Films. Track them down, absolutely. He was also behind Fractured Visions. So a while ago, there was a film festival that then kind of birthed a boutique Blu-ray label, and they put out some amazing films as well.
That was Cardiff based, wasn't it?
Yeah. So their stuff's amazing. Our mutual friend Tom Hughes, of course.
Oh, not that bastard. Yeah, go on then.
I love him. Yeah.
He's all right, isn't he?
He is. So yeah. Also, there's Tom Hughes of Ritual Video. I was lucky enough to meet Tom about 10 years ago. We were hanging out at the Cardiff Mini Film Festival, and there was a Twisted Tales night. And the guys behind the fest have kind of asked me for the past 10 years, I guess, to be the kind of judge for that, which has been great because it's pretty much, a constant source of horror shorts, like zapped to me in the comfort of my own home, which is nice. And yeah, so I got to hang out with Tom. He was picking my brain. At that point, I think he'd only done like a little short film that he'd shot in Aberystwyth during the Abattoir Film Festival. And we just got nattering. And then shortly after, he started like making these amazing, sick short films, loads of music videos. And then recently in the past couple of years, he's kind of graduated to features and been lucky enough to see Fox Hollow, which is his found footage.
Not that piece of shit. God.
Big meanie.
It's fine. He's on this episode. I've basically told him how brilliant he is on another segment on this episode. It's fine. It's fine.
The I Heart Tom show. Cool.
Yeah, we love Tom. He's the best.
And I was also lucky enough to see an early version of Weed Killer as well.
Did you like the amazing robber at the beginning and the video shop customer and other host of other people?
I did.
Very talented actress. Did you like her? Did you think she was amazing?
I thought that was a standout role. Unfortunately, a bit.
Not that BAFTA award-winning guy. Not him. No, he was shit.
No. Unfortunately, I think it was a bit too good, and it made everybody else look, really bad in the film. But otherwise, yeah.
I thought so.
But
yeah,
that's.
It's bloody great, isn't it?
What I love about it is it's trauma in South Wales.
Yes, exactly what I said to Tom. Exactly what I said.
And I miss that. Like, when I first started shooting stuff in South Wales, everybody was like, indie scrappy people, making whatever they wanted. There's a bunch of really talented guys who are in animation at the moment. Adam and Tom, they do.
I know Adam. Oh, I used to live with Adam.
What? Really?
Yeah. He's one of the people who was at that festival that I didn't know about.
Oh yeah. So Golden Cobra and The Veil, those guys actually started doing live action stuff, and they did a short horror film which was very trauma-esque called Big Boy, and I absolutely loved it. And I got chatting to them. They had a feature-length script, and at the time I took the feature-length script and introduced it to a producer I was working with a lot, and unfortunately the producer just didn't get it. I was like, are you mad? This is amazing. This needs to be made. So the basic plot of Big Boy is that a small schoolgirl gets killed and her brain is stuck into a hulking man who is actually played by Kerry Mears, who is the slightly psychopathic neighbour in God's Squad. So small world in South Wales. But yeah, Adam and Tom absolutely love their stuff. I've loved The Veil since they started loading stuff up on YouTube, and then when I saw the BBC of all people have started using their talents on the show, I was just like, wow, that's insane that they've kind of made it. But I do kind of wish that they could go back to the horror genre, because they've got some very funny stuff to do.
I'll have to check out Big Boy. I've not seen that one.
You might have to ask them for a cheeky link. I suspect it might not be.
I'll ask Adam. I'll be like, yo, Adam, do you remember when we used to live together years ago? Show me a little film. Let me see it. But no, it sounds awesome. Like, I know Adam used to be involved in. He had a quite a few friends years ago up in the valleys, and it was all, like you said, indie, scrappy, DIY stuff, and they just come up with these stupid fucking ideas for films. They'd always be horror focused, and everybody would just, they'd be like, come on lads, they'd all take a camera and just make the most fucking stupid films ever. And I know that happens everywhere, but again, that's something that I feel like the Valleys does really well. I think
definitely.
the same with like music as well. There seem to be lots of bands always popping up in the Valleys, lots of little like, fuck it, let's go make a film this weekend kind of things. And I don't know whether kids do that as much anymore as like our generation did.
Yeah,
I know they've got the internet now, and we didn't have the internet to keep us
I think that was
as
a big
occupied.
thing. Like, I was really lucky that I used to work for Cardiff University years and years ago, and the person who took over from the job that I was doing started doing a film forum called Film Shed, and people like Adam, Phil back in the day, Andrew Jones, Gareth Evans, who did The Raid and Apostle, we were all on this forum, and it was A, we'd just be chatting about, what we loved and obviously pimping our own projects. But B, this was pre-Facebook, so it was pretty much like, guys, can I borrow a pair of hands for the weekend? And so, yeah, I was an extra in a million short films and stuff. I was boom operator on a bunch of other things. I was director of photography because I happened to have a half decent camera at the time. And we would just help each other out on anything. And then, when it was my turn to direct something, I called in every favor, and everybody was, happy to kind of rock up, and yeah, we made weird shit together. So what was always really nice was that people seemed to dig our stuff because, yeah, we'd be doing stuff that was pretty much weirder than everything else. Like, a lot of the stuff that was getting made was pretty much, council estate, mum drowns her baby in the river, kind of dark, bleak, what you'd call like poverty porn nowadays. But that was kind of the stuff that was being made, whereas we were like, let's do giant monsters in South Wales laying their eggs in the valleys. Let's do that.
What's that? Because I want to see
Okay,
that.
so there's a short film, and again, like all of these things, there is a feature-length script called Acts of Godzilla, and it's
Amazing.
about the difficulties of first-time house buyers in a world where giant monsters exist.
I mean, the difficulty of first-time house buying in the valleys anyway is a challenge. If there's fucking monsters as well, that is genius.
Yeah,
I love
again,
that.
yeah. So there's a 10-minute short that's out there. It's one of those things that I wrote when, you kind of just write what you want to write with no idea how you're going to film it. And I still have no idea how I'm going to film the end bit, which is very much a riff on the end of Star Wars A New Hope, where they're flying in the Death Star, but instead they're in boy racer cars, bombing through the roads of the valleys, trying to lure our Godzilla-type monster, into the valleys to lay its eggs rather than trash, cities and everything as well. So I've got no idea how to shoot that.
Sounds plausible. Sounds like it could happen. Anything could happen in the valleys. So
we did the science. So we're confident that the science works. It's just shoot it.
It's like you said though about like the community thing. Like that's how I ended up being so many things in Tom's film, because he was like, oh, I've written a part for you. Do you want to come down and do it? And he was like, oh, whilst you're here, do you want to do this as well? And do you want to do this? And he was like, oh, you couldn't help me do this. And I said, I want a script supervisor credit. I want a camera operator. I want a continuity credit. I want a special effects prop master. I want all sorts of credits so I can have an IMDb page, because that would make me really happy. But it's just that thing, and I always say to him, like, anytime, just give me a ring. I have most afternoons off. I haven't got anything better to do. I'll come down and do some silly shit with you, because I know that, one, it's always nice to have that extra pair of hands, but also nothing makes me happier than knowing that silly indie films are being made. And that's not to say they're not good films, but I feel like Welsh indie horror often has quite silly roots. And again, I think that's because our sense of humour is so specific.
Yeah.
I don't know to.
No, no, no,
I don't know if that makes
no,
sense. I don't know if that makes
yeah,
sense, but
no, absolutely. And I think, unfortunately, like, and again, this may just be ignorance on my part, with the exception of Tom, I think like Wales indie stuff has kind of lost the humour a bit. Everybody seems to be kind of posting respectability, which is fine, and there's some good stuff still being made, but that crappy low budget thing, I'm not aware of it being made in South Wales, with the exception of Tom stuff. Um, again, even Adam and Tom, that they've hit BBC respectability, and they brought that scrappiness to the BBC, which is absolutely insane. And I love how they've kind of changed the landscape of animation. Just sticking to their guns and doing what they do. But yeah, it's difficult. So like the past 2 years, I've been going to the Horror and Sea Film Festival, and that's obviously that's down South End way, other side of the UK. But it's amazing to see like the spirit of Troma really is kind of alive with the filmmakers there, and the filmmakers there seem to be obviously geographically based there, but you also get like a pocket of them more in the Midlands and Hereford way as well. And I feel like, again, probably ignorant on my part, but I'm keeping an eye out for it. But yeah, we seem to have lost that kind of sense of fun. But hey, Sam, please correct me. Let me know if there's other good fun stuff out there being made.
not that I'm aware of, but like listeners/viewers would have already heard this. You haven't. Like in the conversation with Tom, we talk about how so much big TV and film has come to Wales with all the studios setting up in Cardiff, and I think the landscape out there probably is quite different now because people are going, oh, well, instead of making my own stupid fucking shitty zombie films in the garden, please make stupid fucking shitty zombie films in the garden.
Yeah.
They're going to work for the BBC, or they're going to work for Bad Wolf and all these other studios that are in Cardiff. And there's so many, even I think like, I couldn't think of words then. I was going to say publications, and that's not the right word. There's so many productions that come to Wales to film because we've got such stunning landscapes.
Yeah.
There's a huge workforce now because people are probably retraining and reskilling so that they can go work in the film industry in Wales, that maybe people aren't doing their own stuff as much anymore because they're doing a proper job.
Yeah, 100%.
And they might just be a boom operator, but they've got a job at the BBC,
Yeah.
and they've got a steady paycheck, and they're not they're not scrabbling around trying to find jobs.
Yeah, no.
And I wonder if that's changing the indie landscape a bit.
I think so. I think absolutely. I mean, yeah, as always, Tom is 100% correct. But yeah, I mean, when I started making stuff down here, it was before Doctor Who even started shooting here, and then opportunities were very few and far between. So we'd make our own stuff, we'd go out and shoot, and then about what was it? About 10 years ago, obviously more and more productions started, getting made here. Big productions, you had Netflix coming down here. You had, Disney Plus in the past 5-6 years coming down here as well. And I think it's great, that, people are getting the opportunity, but also, at the start position, it's like the mangler, they're churning through all these young kids straight out of school, doing these insane hours, like 6 days, possibly 7 days a week, 18 hours minimum shoots, burning out all these kids. And again, a lot of people I worked with on indie stuff like 8-9 years ago were very excited to go on to, like sex ads. What else did we do down here? Sex ed being the big one. Oh, other people went off to do, like makeup and stuff on Wednesday, but they were getting absolutely burnt out by it. And the other thing that winds me up slightly, and Doctor Who was guilty of this first, is shot in Wales, so they're pretending to be somewhere else. Just what a waste. Everything that we write is with the full knowledge that Wales is great. Let's set it in Wales as well as film it in Wales. That's part of the humour. Giant monster movie in South Wales, great. Let's do that. And yeah, I just find that a shame where we've got so many massive productions going on, but yeah, there are no like high level positions for Welsh talent. You know, you might be there on runners and everything, and then as well, you know, you're pretending it's London or you're pretending it's, you know, another part of the world. You're not using Wales to its, you know, full limits really.
Yeah, saying about sex education is a bit of a sore subject for me. I love that show, and I found out after they wrapped the final season that they'd been filming it 5 minutes from my house, and that Gillian Anderson was 5 minutes from my house for God knows how long, and I could have been up there going, I love you, please kiss me. And what a wasted opportunity. I could have been up there trying to kiss Gillian Anderson for such a long time.
I feel like both of you missed out.
Thank you. I think that is a crime, and no one told me I was up there, and I was gutted. I've forgotten what my point was now, because I got so distracted by Gillian Anderson and thinking about giving her a little kiss. You mentioned then about like pretending that it's not Wales that the films and productions are set in. Do you find that is important to you? Because I've talked about this with everybody else as well, about like having this inbuilt sense of pride about Wales. Whether you were born here, whether you just live here, everyone seems to be really proud. And going to school, it was always like, you should be proud to be Welsh. My family always told me I should be proud to be Welsh, and I always took part in, like, I've asked everyone this as well, about the Eisteddfod. Did you do any Eisteddfods?
So I'm actually, hold on, I'm actually an Englishman, but I'm an honorary Welshman.
Oh, get off.
I know, sorry. But I've been living in, South Wales. Well, I've been living in Wales longer than I haven't. So, yeah, since the age of 18.
Did you do any... Oh, you would have just missed. Yeah. You would have just missed the end of school, and I thought you'd been here a bit longer than that.
No. So yeah. So for the past, of course, can't do maths. Anyway, for a long time, I've been South Wales based, or Aberystwyth initially. And for me, it's just, I mean, the place is great. Like, you know, I grew up in the Midlands originally, and there's not the same sense of community that there is here, and that's included in filmmaking, but outside of filmmaking as well, just full stop. There's an amazing sense of community. I live, you know, just on the outskirts of the Rhondda valleys, and it's an amazing just atmosphere day to day. Everybody knows each other. Everybody's really friendly. That kind of extended into the filmmaking stuff, where everybody is just happy to chip in no matter what. I remember a weekend where I went from shooting a found footage horror film to just shooting BTS on somebody's student film because it was a mate of a mate. And I was like, yeah, sure. Cameras charged, let's go. There was no sort of hierarchy, which I loved, you know, and often it's quite nice to have that change of pace where, okay, I'm not responsible for, you know, the director directing a feature film this weekend. All I've got to do is make sure I just get plenty of B-roll on somebody's, you know, BTS film. Brilliant, you know, good change of pace. But it's that, there's that sense of community. I think I went off topic.
No, you didn't. You didn't. It's perfectly on topic. I'm just sad you missed out on the fun experience of School Eisteddfods, because they were just wonderful. But even though Tom's only like half hour from me, Tom doesn't remember having Eisteddfods in his school. That's why I asked you earlier where you live now, because that I think different pockets have different levels of Welshness.
Yeah. So I've got 3 kids, and the Eisteddfod thing is very optional. And so
that is upsetting.
I think I think they do certain things, but in terms of like leaning into the Welsh language aspect of it, it's very optional. So we still got to dress them up in the nice costumes. So there's that.
Love a Welsh lady costume.
Yeah.
I've my kid, they've always done Eisteddfods and things in school, which I'm really pleased about, but I don't think they've been given the most encouragement when it's come to Welsh language. Yeah. For me in school, Welsh language was very exciting, and I loved learning Welsh, and I loved being good at Welsh, to the point that I did AS level Welsh, and I was going to do A level Welsh, but the college fucked me over, and I was going to do business Welsh business Welsh at university because I wanted to be fluent and work in Wales as a fluent Welsh speaker. It didn't happen. And I'm still not fluent, but I practice and I try. But yeah, I'm sad that that it's all very optional for your kids.
Yeah,
I
think that the GCSE element is still mandatory, but in terms of the Eisteddfod and all the culture stuff, that appears anyway. As a dad, to be more optional backgroundy stuff, unfortunately.
No, see, I think those sorts of things are what have like formed my foundation of like being obsessed with being Welsh.
Oh yeah.
And then I think as well, like you wouldn't have been here at this time, but when like the Stereophonics and the Manic Street Preachers and Catatonia and all them lot were all like really famous, there was such a sense of pride here.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, Wales is the best, yay. And I think that in my, how old would I have been? Probably 10 to 15. I think those years, I think, were very formative of like, okay, Wales is the best. Wales is brilliant. We love Wales. Seeing Tom Jones in Mars Attacks was one of the greatest moments of my entire life.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, look at this. Welsh people are the best people in the world. Oh, bloody love Mars Attacks. Yeah, I've gone off on a little tangent as well now. But is there anything else about film in Wales, horror in Wales that you want to share, talk about, get off your chest?
No, I mean, I suppose
you could be negative if you want, if you think like, because I feel like there's not enough of a active horror community in Wales, and as we've had conversations, that's something I'm trying to like pick up a little bit more. Is just actually getting off my arse and doing it. What do you think about the current Welsh horror? You got an Alkaline Trio t-shirt on, I just noticed. Sorry.
What? Sorry?
You've got an Alkaline Trio t-shirt on.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
My favourite band in the entire world.
Oh, sweet. Okay, very cool. Yeah, no.
I've only just noticed. I'm like, yay!
Yeah, it's
that's my ADHD going mad.
Yeah, maybe not my favourite, definitely top 3. So yeah.
Favourite album?
Oh, god damn it! I like
old school Alkaline Trio.
Yeah. So I discovered them through Blink-182. Like Blink-182 used to like just go on about them constantly, and at the time the only one I could buy was God Damn It, and then they made it big with From Here to the Infirmary, and like I love that album.
That's where I discovered them, but not my favourite album.
Really?
Good Morning's my favourite album.
Yeah, that was the next one, wasn't it? After From Here to Infirmary.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good. I do like just early Matt Skiba when his voice breaks loads. It just it makes me go, oh bless him. Like
and when Dan still had a lisp.
Yeah. But yeah, that's
like Enjoy Your Day. Listening to him lisp on Enjoy Your Day is one of the most heartbreaking things in the entire fucking world. And he lisps even more because he's so sad when he's singing it. And I'm just like, oh, Alkaline Trio tangent. Sorry, you were going to say stuff about Wales and horror and community and stuff. I just got really excited by your t-shirt.
Yeah. So, horror film festivals. So, it seems to be like cycles. So, again, about 10, 11, 12 years ago, we had this amazing thing in Cardiff called Scardiff, which was run by a lovely guy called Wayne Simmons. And it was born out of me and Andrew Jones, a horror producer who's no longer with us. We went to a Comic-Con, and there was a little talk there. And, we had our own little room to the side because we weren't comics, so we were this obscure little thing. And we filled out the room. People were absolutely fascinated, and it had nothing to do with us because at the time we'd only done 2 feature films. It was really just that there was a real hunger and a real passion for horror filmmaking, and on the basis of just this Cardiff Comic-Con, where we had like a little conference room in the the Mercure Hotel. Do you know that one?
Mm-hmm.
So it was standing room only, and it was amazing because it was like, wow, there's a real passion there. So Wayne, who was kind of like co-running the Cardiff Comic-Con, he started a horror specific one called Scardiff, and it was 2 amazing, brilliant years of horror conventions. You know, we had Tony, what's his real name? Bobby. I forgot my surname. The Tony the Pimp from Demons, and he was also in Demons too. He turned up. I have lovely photos with him. He was the loveliest guy. He's Italian. His English was better than my Italian, but still barely communicated beyond just absolute idol worship on my part. And then it kind of went away because it was like so much work to put in on these events that Wayne tried to convince me to kind of pick up the baton and run Scardiff for year 3. But unfortunately, he did that after moaning about how much hard work it was. And I'm like, well, no, you've just told me why not to do it.
I'm not going to do it. Yeah, it's hard.
And then, like I said earlier, like Phil Escott, he was running Fractured Visions, which is an awesome 2-day film festival based in Cardiff. The one constant, and it really frustrates me because I haven't actually been for probably 10 years, but I used to go a lot, especially pre-kids, was Abattoir in Aberystwyth. Amazing horror film festival curated by Nia and Gaz. I went on, the first time I went was Abattoir 3. Got absolutely wangered with Doug Bradley in On the Pier.
Dougie B!
Yes, have some great stories which I will never share. At least online. I'll tell you offline.
Tell me next time you see me.
Sure. Really, in terms of Wales-based stuff, the only constant's been Abattoir. There'll be pockets springing up, but in terms of anything with staying power, it's been limited. There's been a couple of new ones. So there's been Rilla Thriller, and I think they are in year 3, I think it is.
It'll be year 4 this year.
Oh, fab. Okay. So
I've been to 2 and 3. Missed the first one, but I shall be going to 4.
Excellent. Yeah, so we've got Rilla Thriller now, and then there's Phantasmagoria up in Wrexham as well, which God Squad was supposed to be playing. Well, did play, but without me because again, broke my foot. But they were lovely guys behind it, I was absolutely gutted I couldn't go. So I will try go to this year's, even without a filming competition, because I think the thing is people really need to support this stuff while it exists. Because if people don't turn up, or if people take the piss, these things will go away. There are human people behind these festivals. It's a lot of work. Even though the festival may only be 1 or 2 days, they're working all the other days of the year, sorting out guests, sorting out, vendors, location, all sorts of insurance and stuff. It's an absolute nightmare. So my hat's off to anybody who's able to keep a festival going year on year.
Like Abattoir, I only found out about Abattoir maybe 4 years ago, considering last year was his 25th year. Mm. I only found out about it maybe 4 years ago. Still haven't got around to going.
It's amazing.
I forget every time. And then it's sold out by the time I remember, and I'm like, shit.
The past 3 years, it sells out within minutes, which is absolutely insane. And the past 2 years, they've had to put it in, like, the Great Hall, which is, like, as a former student at Aberystwyth, it's where, like, everybody used to put on their, amateur plays and stuff. Whereas they've got a really nice, like, art centre, but it's not big enough for the amount of tickets they sell. Which is just brilliant because, having gone on year 3 when it was still a really good turnout, but they never sold out for years and years. I do love the fact that now they've made it and they're well and truly established. I've got a feeling that like my personal situation has improved somewhat, so that I might be able to attend, but this year. But that of course depends on being able to actually get a ticket quick enough.
Well, this year we're not having a full event. I think they're doing a couple of little smaller ones.
That's right.
Nia has already been on the episode. Listeners, viewers would have heard Nia already. You'll have to wait until it comes out. But yeah, Nia was talking about like Fractured Visions and Scardiff as well for like community events. And I'd never heard. I know the name Fractured Visions now, but back when those events were running, I never heard about them, and I would have been there.
Yeah.
I would have been there supporting them. And like you said, it takes so much work and people need to go out, and I didn't know about them to go. So not that I like my ticket would have made any difference, but I would have been one more person in that community telling more people about it. So it's a shame I never knew about them.
I think part of the problem is like the promotions aspect is so broken now because of social media, and everybody's in their own little bubbles or whatever, that things that, and again, I'm aging abattoir now, things that predate social media like abattoir, they've just built up, like they've snowballed this audience, this inbuilt audience, and now they are considered in the top 5 UK, actually isn't it top 10 world horror film festivals, which is amazing, considering Aberystwyth is in the middle of nowhere. It's a nightmare to get to. I've got the nostalgia of like my old uni days, but I definitely recommend when they're up and running again, because it's like 6 days of at least 15 hours of horror films each day. And it definitely used to be that you'd only get like a 10-15 minute break, so you'd have to load up a bag full of snacks to keep you going through the day. That's if you're going to do everything. And I just got into this habit of, yes, I must see everything, because the first year I went, the film I decided to miss out on because I was like, oh no, I want food, was Mars. And I missed Mars in an audience full of people, and it took me about 3 years then for it to actually come out. Yes.
That's my pointing at my Martyrs poster, such is my love of.
Amazing, yeah. So
I've got Martyrs just floating behind my head.
Yeah, no, again. So ever since then, when I go to the festival, I make sure I watch everything.
It's not quite on this. Sorry, go on.
I was just going to say, like Gaz and Nia, they do such a great job because it's only the one screen. It's like heavily created by them, and they've got amazing taste. So I've been to some other horror film festivals in the past 2 years, and they've kind of split their screens beyond like different multiple screens. So, there's not curation. It's pretty much just throw everything at the wall and hope something sticks. And as an audience member, I've gone to some of those, and I'm like, oh, well, I don't know. Do I want to go to the short film showcase and support that, or do I want to watch the next big thing, which in 6 months may come to, like traditional cinemas, maybe showing at Odeon anyway. So I do appreciate like the hand-picked quality of Abattoir. They got good taste, and they've each got their own like personal favourites. So Nia will always kind of bring some like Asian horror to the mix as well, and it'll be something I've never even heard of, and often it'll be like the first film I've seen from that country, full stop. From like Indonesia, I'd never seen an Indonesian horror film until
Indonesian horror film slap.
Yeah, like again, it was only thanks to Nia and Abattoir that I kind of went on that, and then found all their the historical crazy stuff they used to make in like the 80s as well. So yeah.
Whoa, wow. Talking of festivals, we'll wrap up by saying, did you say you had another date for a festival?
No. So I think Pitch and Laughs, which was the comedy one, I think
the
is our last one. But it's been nice to be able to show God Squad at comedy fest as well as horror fest. It plays.
I think it sits nicely in both.
Yeah, we're lucky in that. It does straddle. That's a poor choice of words. Both audiences.
It's an excellent choice of words. Go with it.
Right. It straddles both audiences really well. I've completely lost my.
You were like,
But yeah, no, it's played really well. I think, unless we got invited, I think we've done 2 years back-to-back festivaling. What with Virus Detected and then with God Squad, I need a rest. So we're gonna have a little rest now, and then we'll see about getting God Squad the feature up and running.
Excellent. Fingers crossed. That would be brilliant. So where can people find you and Mad Science to find out more? Where can they watch? Are any of the films available for people to watch?
Yeah, so lots of our earliest stuff is on Mad Science Films on YouTube. We are still on Facebook and Instagram. We came off X because it's a terrible, terrible place.
Cesspit.
We're still pretty active on Facebook, but it just goes straight to YouTube, so you can ignore all the nonsense we get up to and just get the films direct.
I'll pop a link to it in the show notes so people can just click there and go straight there and have a little look at what you've done. Is there anything in the pipeline that we can we can learn about?
Not really.
Not to put any pressure on you.
No, not really. So, yeah, due to personal stuff, like I'm hopefully months away from finalising a divorce. I've only really had like the mental bandwidth for touring around with festivals. I've done some script writing for like other people, but that probably won't be a mad science production. But that's been nice, just writing horror films for other people, not having to figure out how to actually make them. So yeah, that's flexed some different muscles. Um, but no, like we've got about 5 years worth of weekly shows, short films on the YouTube thing. So that'll probably keep most people going until we get God Squad the feature up and running.
Well, as you know, my divorce finalised last month. The fucking weight that lifts off you is amazing.
I am looking forward to that weight coming off. So yeah, thanks.
Yeah, so you'll have plenty of little brain somethings to work on projects. So I look forward to seeing what you come up with.
Well, thank you.
And as always, I will keep in touch, and I like to make sure that anyone following the podcast social media gets to see when previous guests are doing stuff. So we'll share news of when we get our God Squad feature film.
Excellent.
And which festival is going to be premiering at.
Thank you, sir.
See, positive thinking. We can do it.
Yeah, nice.
Excellent. Well, thanks so much for giving me so much time today, James, and I will speak to you soon.
Cheers,
bye.
Thank you.
And then last but not least is Tom and Chad from Rilla Thriller. These pair are absolutely hilarious. I could, again, chat to them all day. We had a really great chat about the festival and about the problems with the film community and the horror community in North Wales. It's really, really interesting, and I urge you to come along to Rilla Thriller this year because it is a lot of fun. And as you can see, that pair of absolute loons are a good time, and you will absolutely have a brilliant time in Rill. Hello, Tom and Chad. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I'm very excited to finally pin you guys down and have a chat, because we've been meaning to do this for a while, haven't we? Thank you for coming on. How are you both doing?
Yeah, I'm all right. Yeah, I'm good. Thanks for having us on.
Quite surprised then when you were like, yeah, actually, yeah, quite good.
We're just messes, so we're always quite shocked when, yeah.
Me too, I'm always a mess.
Yeah, we thrive better in chaos than we do in the calm times.
Yeah,
a little bit. It's that ADHD thing, I think, of being thrown into chaos, and you're like, all of a sudden I can do things. Look at me go. But normally, useless. Well, Thank you for coming on. I've wanted to chat to a bunch of my favourite Welsh horror people and horror people in Wales for a while. So it's taken me a long time because I've been putting it off because doing anything is hard. But wanted you guys to come on because Rilla Thriller is an absolutely brilliant festival. I've come along the last 2 years. I'm going to be coming along again this year. Tell the lovely listeners about your beautiful festival and how it came about.
You want to take this one, or me?
I can take the start on this one. So Chad started off doing voluntary work for a local cinema community group thing where they help young people sort of have access to film and get into maybe making films. And then as part of that, Chad made his first film with them, and they bankrolled his idea of a horror film festival. And that was Rilla Thriller 1. Which
you came up with the name, by the way.
Yeah, I came up with the
name. Which is a genius name.
Thank you very much.
It is genius.
It was closest to being Blood on the Beach.
Blood on the Beach I originally wanted, and then Tom was like, what about Rilla Thriller? And I was like, oh, are you a fan of Driller Killer? And he was like, what's that? So he'd never watched Driller Killer, so it was just
For shame.
I know. And then I came on fully in year 2.
Yes, you did. Yeah.
And we made it sort of its own thing, and we moved away from that other community group. We still work with them, everything's good there, but then we went fully self-funded and do all this stuff, and then we realised that
it's harder than it looks.
It's harder than it looks, and that also we didn't just want to do a festival. We decided to also add sort of screenings in schools and community viewings and showing independent punk band documentaries in nightclubs at 1 a.m. on an Easter weekend and things like that. Yes. So it just snowballs into everything.
Yeah. As a
and you're regretting your life choices.
No, because at the moment we are, because we're in the middle of obviously sorting the festival out, because we're a two-man team, so everything's got to be done between me and Tom, and between Tom being Tom and me being ravaged with ADHD and trying to do 106 things at once, it's hard to get everything pinned down, but we manage.
We manage.
Yeah.
We manage.
After the festival, we love it, and we're like, oh yeah, we can't wait to do it again. And then when we sit down and start doing everything, we then realise we're just like,
Yeah. We always say that we'll have a week off after the festival, and then normally if it finishes on a Sunday, by the Tuesday morning, one of us has messaged with, should we do this one next year? What about this film?
I think I messaged you on the Monday already going, I've got this idea, and you were like, mate, take a day off.
Yeah.
Just one day, just do it. You need to look after yourselves. No, I'm really looking forward to this year. It's gonna be a good time getting everyone together again. And what I've said to lots of people in lots of different places is I love the sense of community at Rilla Thriller and how relaxed it is. I don't feel under any pressure that I have to sit and watch every single film.
No,
but it is nice to spend time with, you know, your fellow horror fans and have a chat and hang out and stuff. And it feels a lot more relaxed than other festivals I've been to, which I like.
Yeah,
we're
trying to make more of that this year. We're trying to work out a space in the venue that we can have as a social area that isn't around traders and is away from the screening room. So we're hoping to have that, you know, but it'll just be a room with a bunch of beanbags and some chairs and stuff. But it should be nice for people to be able to just go sit, have some chill time there as well.
Yeah, it'd be nice because like you have a nice mix of new indie films and then, you know, older, more established films. So I feel a bit less guilty missing those to go off and socialise because I'm like, I've seen that one. And then try and catch the indie stuff. So when it comes to being a festival in Wales, I feel like you guys are really like proud of the fact you're a festival in Wales, especially, and I say this with as much love as I possibly can, in a shitty little Welsh town, because I'm from a shitty little Welsh town. You know,
that's the politest thing anyone's ever called Wales.
I know.
Real's nice. I like it. You got a really good charity shop by the little theatre. It's great. That's my story of Real. I'm like, I like that charity shop. It's just really lovely that you seem to have that pride of like where you're from and being Welsh and everything. Is that like I'm guessing it's super important to you?
We are very proud that we're Welsh and we do love our town. You know, one of the main things that we always try and do this year, specifically the Friday, we've added on, we want to do, you know, the best in Wales. We're going to have a talk of some cool people. We're not announced anyone yet, I think. I've booked the panel. You know, the future of horror in Wales. You know, it's important to us because, you know, a lot of people don't get that Wales don't have a lot of funding. I don't mean to sound like, you know, that Bernie English, but you know, they get a lot of the funding.
We don't.
You know, a lot of the arts in Wales is not great.
It's criminally
underfunded. Yeah, you know, if we were just over the border in Chester, we would get 3 times as much funding, but because we're not, we're in rail. We barely get anything. You know, we have to work a lot harder to get what we get.
Yeah, especially when it comes to sort of government funding. Even if you go as far, if you want to make a film in England, there's so many grants available for like up to £5,000 to make your first short film, even if you're not a film student. It doesn't exist in Wales. So even those things can be so much harder. And it is mainly aimed at people under 25 in England, but there are still a lot of grants available for people of any age that are not available just 10 minutes over the border here in Wales. And that's a real struggle for people because it then turns into it'll get in your head then. It becomes, well, it's not fair.
No, 100%.
And you can really become bitter if you let that cycle follow. So you've got to be proud that it's from Wales because you've got to be proud of the fact that you know that you worked harder to get the same results.
Because like you said, you know, you've had Tom on from Ritual Films. Like I love what he does. Like Fulci we showed last year at Rilla Thriller, but he's the prime example of being Welsh from Wales and going, well, no one else is going to help me. I'm just going to do it myself.
I'm just going to fucking do it myself. Yeah, exactly.
And I respect Tom a lot on that. You know, he's very much, well, you know, I'm not going to get any money for it. I'm just going to make the film.
And we talked about that earlier in the episode. Listeners will have heard already, but
how like Cardiff at the moment is a massive hub for film and video, how old am I? Film and TV. Film and TV production and things, and there's huge amounts of money coming into Wales for that. But it's all big budget stuff. It's all big studio stuff, and the little indie guys are just like treading water trying to get anything done.
With the money that does come into Wales, another thing that frustrates us, they try to keep it in the south of Wales, so they try and keep it for Cardiff, for those places. But that's listen, we're just happy money's coming into Wales at that point. But like you said, it's tougher on smaller things like us. You got Phantasmagoria down the road, and it's one of them. It'd be nice if the money was spread a bit more evenly. But I get that the capital of our beautiful, beautiful country is in the south.
Yeah, that's one of the things I'm interested to talk to you guys actually about, like the north-south differences, because culturally, as being Welsh people, I think it's very different. For us de Cymru people, you gogs up there, you seem, even though the Welsh culture and Welsh language seems more ingrained up there, it also feels more anglicised, because I think like people hear your accents and they go, oh, they're from Liverpool, or they're from, and you don't sound Welsh. But obviously I know from a lot of people in North Wales that you do sound more Scouse adjacent than Welsh. But do you feel like growing up being artistic and creative and things were encouraged as Welsh people? Did you feel that the arts were a big part of culture and community? Because for me in the valleys, it definitely was.
Not particularly. Being from Rhyl is a very specific shitty little Welsh town in the fact that it used to be booming.
We had Edwin Van Star players,
and almost over the period of 8 years in the early 90s, it died.
Yes,
and nothing replaced it because there was no
infrastructure.
There's no infrastructure. There's no industry in Rhyl. It was all holiday seasonal. And then when jet holidays came about, that just stopped completely. And so because of that, there's never been any real focus on the arts, much at all in North Wales. There's a little bit, if you go towards Bangor, Conway, there's a little bit more down there.
But that's because they're uni towns as well.
But not a lot. And I mean, I didn't find the arts until I was 16 and got into acting and stage work. I know you always wanted to do film.
Yeah. But again, with how I had to get into it, is I didn't do too well in school. So, when I went to go, right, I'm going to do a film course, because that's what I've always wanted to do, it got to the point where they were like, well, you need these GCSE, so you need GCSE in English and maths. And it's like, why do I need them to make film? So it was more of I felt more people were against me when I wanted to get into it,
like more hurdles to jump. When it comes to the arts, why is your academic career important when it comes to the arts?
It shouldn't be.
It doesn't matter. And there were, I mean, I know when we started, there were almost zero sort of art community groups or to push stuff towards youth to get into film or the arts or writing and things like that. And there are more now. We've worked with some groups, and it's that thing where you find that the people that have the least give the most.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people that have started up like adjacent campaigns and structures to what we do, just in the filmmaking or in writing or in art or art therapy and things like that. But it's all been grassroots rather than sort of government led. So it's just built up by the people around here. It wasn't around, but people have sort of built it around here, which is great to see. I know, we see kids now that are wanting to get into film or into camera work or into directing or writing, and that's great to see now.
They need to stay off my patch. That's what I need to do.
Piss off, I'm doing that. No, it's great, and I think you guys are probably like massively inspired people up around your way and down with me. Like, I look at the model you guys have as an inspiration for like what I want to do. Like, I want to do screenings and like maybe a very small festival. It's just, pulling my finger out and actually fucking doing it. But that kind of, like you said, the grassroots starting from nothing and just going, okay, what do I want to see out there? What
don't we have? What would I like to see? And I think that's brilliant. And from what you guys have shared over the years, like, it seems to be having ripple effects in real and like wider, which is brilliant. So like, well done, like, congratulations. That was amazing, considering you're both two weird little guys who are like, let's do a film festival. And you know, and I say weird little guys with the most love because I'm also a weird little guy.
We know what we are. It's cool.
Yeah. And yeah, you've just gone out there and done it, and the doing it is the hardest bit. I've sat for the last 2 years going, I would love to do screenings and stuff. Have I done anything? No, I fucking haven't. It's just having the get up and go to actually do it. So fucking fair play, you've done it.
We work worst when we are in the planning stage. Yeah. When it gets to the festival's a week out, we've got no guests, we've got no films lined up, then it's fine. Then it's easy. Yeah. Because it gets to the point where you don't have a choice, you've just got to do. But when it's the 8 months out,
The limbo.
that limbo period can be soul crushing.
I find, especially with, again, not advice, because I'm no one to give advice to, but with the starting a festival, it's one of them. It's people around you as well. Like, I know for a fact about Tom, without my wife, about the guys in the tattoo shop, about my friend Pete and his family that helped at the festival. I wouldn't have started this, like, without them going, mate, do it, you know, because I was umming and ahhing about taking Rilla Filler on its own, and then Tom was like, mate, I'll do it with you if you want. And then, you know, without Tom, emails wouldn't be sent, I'd forget everything, there'd be films and there'd just be no one in the room. Yeah. You know, it's one of them. It's definitely, it takes an army.
Yeah. We say that we're a two-man team, and we are when it comes to, you know, who's planning it, who's
the little thing.
Yeah,
Wow.
It's a two-man team. But the support that we've got behind us so my house is basically has been a sweatshop for 3 years.
Yeah.
For making merchandise and products and stuff. And the way that's jumped up levels every year is really weird, because it started off with
hats, woven hats, wasn't it?
With woven hats.
No, bleached t-shirts. Wasn't it?
T-shirts. So our first ever merch was black t-shirts that we bought, and then we commissioned a guy to make like a perspex stencil, and then my partner and my eldest daughter would sit in the living room with me, and with these bleach pens, or like little sponges with bleach on, and we would bleach the Rilla Thriller logo into the back of t-shirts, and we sold out. We sold like 35 of those, and then we got onto making hats out of like fresh wool that my partner would knit, and then we got these patches made and we stitched them, and then now we've got like
a laser machine,
a laser engraver machine, and we're buying like fully branded t-shirts that are sort of, I would say, sort of, you know, getting towards Hell on Shirts quality of print on the t-shirt and stuff, and so it's represent. Yeah, so when we
I love that one. I didn't pick that one up, and I wish I did.
When we look back and we see like those steps that we've come, those are the steps that are helpful.
Yes,
because they're sort of measurable steps.
Yeah,
we can say, yeah. We've got a bigger screen.
Yes, our festival screen is bigger now, so we've upgraded. So we've got our little screen for smaller events, and then we've got this huge one that takes about 3 people to carry.
Yeah, so this year I think that's an exclusive actually. We've not actually mentioned that, have we? A bigger screen for the festival.
Yeah,
I think it's an extra 6 foot diagonally than the one
brilliant.
That we have. So it's considerably bigger.
That's what she said.
Hey.
They're the things that sort of we can easily mark our growth by.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to mark it by quality of the festival, because
we hate everything we do.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're very self-deprecating. Everything we do, like we won't sit there until probably a week after the festival and go, oh, we did all right there. We'll just sit there going, oh, what could we have done better? Especially me, you're not as bad as me. I'm very much I said to Tom for this, I was like, no one's going to come to this festival. And Tom's just sat there like, mate, why are you saying this to me? We've sold tickets, so I know people are coming. But, you know, like, I thought it was very interesting. We just looked at tickets before we came on this, and we've got people from Zurich and...
Oh, wow.
Zurich and Brussels.
Netherlands.
Yeah, the Netherlands.
It's somewhere in the Netherlands as well. So, you know, it's cool. We're like an international film festival now.
Yeah, we had But our issue is, and this will be an issue that I think most people that
If you're going to talk about what you're going to talk about, I'm going to get angry.
that most people that run film festivals or run events in their local smaller towns will struggle with is that we get more people from mainland Europe every year than we do from Rel.
Yeah,
coming to the festival.
Preston.
Infuriating.
I think
Yeah,
last year we sold more tickets to mainland Europe. I think we only had
Birmingham was our biggest buyers.
I think we only had one person from Rel buy a ticket last year. The year before, we had more people from Ireland than Rel.
More people from Brussels. That's where you're getting.
More people from Belgium bought tickets than Rel.
Are you the only horror fans in Rill? Is that what it is?
No, that's the worst thing. We're not like it. It's very disheartening because we don't take any money for ourselves from this. All the money we make, we put back in to make equipment better, to make bigger events, to book events, to book
free
guests,
events,
to do free events. Me and Tom have never took a penny from Rilla Thriller. We wouldn't. It's a passion project for the town we love so much. So, and we bring over 100 people each year to the town, which those people then go into the businesses in the town. So it is very it does. Especially me, I get very, hurt by the fact that, we don't really get support from them. None of them share our posts, none of them put a poster up.
I was saying this morning to Chad that I really like the community that we've built at Real Thriller. I like there's a good 3 or 4 groups that tend to turn up every year and they love it and they're all chatty and they have a great time. It's always lovely to see them and talk to them all and it's great. I just wish that our local community would try to become more of that community as well.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of, we've got a lot of people that the local cinema closed down 2 years ago. It is reopened now and only has been for a few months. But so many people were kicking off that their local cinema closed down that didn't come to pop-up screening events. So we don't just do horror pop-up screenings. When we do our pop-up ones, it's all genres of classic films and modern films. Kids films as well. And then the fact that there's so many people around here that are like, oh, I love horror films. A lot of people, and this isn't sort of throwing shade at anyone for anything they do or they go to.
You throw that shade.
But there's 30, 40 people from Rel that will go to For the Love of Horror, but then they won't come to Rilla Thriller. Mm-hmm. And I know that some people prefer a convention to a film festival, and that they are completely different vibes. But I just find it really weird that you wouldn't spend 20 quid in your hometown that's round the corner, but you'd spend 300-400 quid for a weekend plus autographs and everything else in Manchester. It's just, I don't know. It's one that just confuses and boggles the mind sometimes, I think.
Try to start a war? I'm not sure.
I'm always ready for it.
No, I think poke people with sticks because the community needs poking with sticks sometimes. Like, do you think it's a jealousy thing that people are like, oh, you guys are actually out there doing it and making stuff happen?
In Rel,
or do you just think it's apathy?
in Rel, it's both.
Yeah.
So there is a problem with apathy in Rel because a lot of people in Rel don't have anything. They don't have any sort of hopes and dreams for the future. They're just getting by with what they can. They're surviving, which is what a lot of us are doing, all over the place. But then there is also that thing of, oh, well, I don't know, it might look good, but it's just going to be from Rel and it's in Rel, and so it's not going to be can't be worth going to if it's in my local hometown.
I also see a lot of posts, the people from out of Rel are like that as well, will post in a forum on Facebook and there'll be people going, I used to go to Rel in the 80s, now it's a shithole, I'm not going back there. And it's like, well, why wouldn't you if we were putting on something you want?
Yeah, and also yearly, there's always the comments whenever we get put in the local newspaper, oh, there's enough zombies in Rel already.
Yeah, but
that's funny though.
It's really funny the first time, but like the 80 seconds.
It's funny until you click on their page and they're sitting in a pub at 12 o'clock in the afternoon drinking John Smith's.
Yeah,
and it's like, oh, you're cool.
Yeah, talk about how much they love Tommy Robinson.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if it's not a ringing enough endorsement that me and my mates drive for like 4 or 5 hours, the last 2 years and again this year, we've blocked her off in our diaries to come. It's an affordable festival, which is really nice as well. And Rill isn't that much of a shithole. It's all right. Like,
we have a lovely weekend. We book a static caravan. We have a little seaside holiday. We go down to the beach. It's fucking great. Why should people come?
If you came and didn't go to the beach, it would be a weird thriller.
Yeah,
I know I have to go to the beach. It's like if
you go to the
I'm
beach, it's like me having 5 mental breakdowns during the day. It needs to happen, otherwise something weird's going to happen.
I need to get in the sea. Last year, I was in the sea. The sun was going. It was lush. The sun was going down. It was raining, and there were 3 of us just like bobbing in the sea, having a fucking lovely time. Nobody else on the beach. It was lovely. I can't remember what film I missed. Sorry, film that I missed. But the sea calls me. I must go to it.
Oh, just mentioning films that were on last year. Have you seen the release of The Chainsaws Were Singing that's been put out?
Very cool, yeah.
I haven't seen the release yet, but I'm very excited because that was one of my favourites from last year.
The bundle they're doing is really good. I need to buy it.
It's quite cheap as well.
Yeah, I need to get the bundles. Very good. Get like stickers and stuff in.
Ooh.
It's very cool. I'll send you it.
I need to pick it up because I loved that. That was great. That was a really cool.
That was one of our favourite films that we showed. Yeah.
I couldn't think of the word then. Programming. That was a cool thing to add to the program.
That's something that I would do.
Sell Rilla Thriller to people. Why do they want to come other than it's affordable and Rill isn't that bad actually?
Because there's no ego, I suppose. Like, you go to a lot of places. This is not to any events in particular, but I find a lot of events can be very cliquey. And that you'll always but we try to make it inclusive for everyone. One of our main things with the events is we don't want people to be lonely. Like, come and hang out with fellow weirdos, come and see us, and we always say if it's something that you want to come to but you can't afford it, give us a message. We're always down to help. If you, even if you just chuck you a free ticket and you still come, like you said, it's about making something. We don't want money or fame. We just want something where a group of horror fans can meet and we can all have a good time. It's about making friends and talking crap. It's about talking to someone you don't know about Salo or 120 Days of Sodom at 12 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, realising that you're not the only person that's watched that film.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
It's shit.
It's fine. It is. It is. Yeah, Mark Easter's was a fucking weirdo. But, that's what I mean. You find someone and, you find that one person and goes, well, actually, I like that film. You're like, you're a weirdo. Come join, go have a drink.
That's Di. He likes it.
Oh, shout out Di. Love that guy.
It's always Di.
Always Di.
It's always Di.
Me drunkenly asking Lawrence Harvey the questions as I stood there with a microphone was one of my favourite.
About politics.
About politics, yeah.
I'm frightened anytime you guys give him a microphone. I'm like, please don't do it. Don't.
It's like Russian roulette. That's why I give him the mic.
Yeah. He's an enigma of a man. And I love him, but I'm a little bit scared of him.
You don't live 5 minutes away from him.
He wishes we did. He's often asked us to move to live like
he would love
as
that.
His neighbour.
Yeah.
He would make you his
makes
little
me love him
boyfriend.
so much because I like seeing how much your head goes. Because I'm like, I'll look at you and you'll be like, no, and Tom will be like, please don't. I'll be like, well, we'll see how this pans out.
I've known the man since I was 13 and he was 15, so the love there is deep.
Really?
But
You've always been like that.
Yeah.
Like
we went.
yes.
He's better now than he used to be. He's better now. He's a good boy now. No, I love him to bits.
He's told us he'll come up to me sometimes when he's drunk. He's like, just so you know, Tom, but I'm nice now.
Him trying to wrestle Mike. So he met Mike that works in the tattoo shop with us, and he was like, "You're a tall one, aren't you? We want to wrestle, boy." And he went to wrestle him, and Mike was like, "No, I'm fine, thank you." It was really funny. One of my favourite moments of the
festival. This is the kind of stuff you get if you come to Rilla Thriller. You get to see my drunk friend talking to Lawrence Harvey and trying to wrestle people.
Yeah. They're bezies now, him and Lawrence.
Yeah,
I know, it's so funny. Adorable. Their friends on Facebook is very cute.
Yeah. But yeah, Villa Thriller, we just want to have a good time and show. You know what, as well, we just want to promote underrated filmmakers as well. You know, like you said, we show the classics and stuff, but we are really big on, you know, little drops of horror. We love doing that. We've introduced that now. You know, we try and show the best films from around the world, and we like showing indie gems and
animated stuff. Lots of animated stuff.
Oh, we always want to show animated stuff.
Yeah,
like Noah's animation for the little drops of horror. Like, I know I said this to you last year.
That was your idea.
Beautiful. It is absolutely stunning.
Weirdly, we've got 2 screens in front of us now. You're on one screen, and then on the other screen is the little drops of horror with Noah's little animation face. The intro part just as the screensaver.
It's glorious. It is lovely.
We love the music that Tom did for it as well, who comes to all of our events, because he smashed the audio for that. Yeah, and his wife. But Noah did a great job. Yeah, they really did.
You don't see enough animation in, I think, film festivals in general, but in horror film festivals. And you had quite a few animated shorts last year. You had a couple of stop motion ones, which I was really excited about because I love stop motion. You have a lot of Welsh movies and Welsh filmmakers and stuff. Like we mentioned Tom, you've had Tom's Tropical Sun for Fulci video last year. We had Darklands last year. Lots of like shorts and full-length features from Welsh. Oh my god. From fucking brain. From Welsh filmmakers. What is your, obviously, like Chad yourself, you've made films. What is your thoughts, I guess, on Welsh horror? We haven't got enough of it, but do you have any favourite Welsh horror movies? Have you got any favourite writers, directors?
Was the first festival show Fate the Face? Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
So
I didn't come to that one.
Yeah, so obviously that I thought was very, very good. I thought that was an insane good film. But I think my favourite overall Welsh film at the moment was probably Protein.
Oh, I love Protein.
That's on Amazon now, by the way, anyone that's watching this.
Yes.
You can watch it on Amazon Prime, so I suggest
Protein has been brought up in every single one of these segments because I fucking love it so much. It is brilliant.
I think it's very much the dead man's shoes for Wales. Like, it's very, this is what it's like living in a small Welsh town.
I actually think it's like dead man's shoes mixed with Twin Town.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, it's sort of, and it's such an accurate representation of small Welsh town life.
Yeah, exactly what I've said about 3 times already.
I love that the humour doesn't carry across when it's shown in England, which was something that the guys talked to us about, and that also the guys that made
The
Quackening also said that those bits of Welsh humour does not translate when it shows in London. And they can't put their finger on what it is, whether it's the delivery or whether it's the subject matter or it's just too niche. But for some reason, that comedy only hits if you're from a small Welsh town. Yep. And I love it.
Because that's the kind of thing I've been quite interested in chatting to people about is, like, does the humour translate? Because I think Welsh humour is very specific. And I don't know what it is, but we've all got a weird sense of humour, I think. And I know stuff does translate because you can look at things like Doctor Who and Torchwood that they're not, set in Wales, but they're made and written in Wales by Welsh people. And then you've got Gavin and Stacey that was obviously like a worldwide hit. So Welsh stuff does translate. But yeah, it's interesting. I would have thought Protein would have been a bit more universal, but hits harder, I guess, to Welsh people because we know those people, we know those towns, we know those situations. Yeah, interesting. Any other ones that are like favourites for you?
Honestly, again, you've had them all, but Tom, I think Tom's smashing it with ritual films at the moment. He obviously did, is it Foxhollow?
Mm-hmm.
You know, that was fantastic. And he's got a film coming out as well, hasn't he, about, it was like a Welsh superhero film.
Weed Killer. I'm in it.
Oh, are
yes.
you? Oh, amazing.
I'm in it.
So,
I'm acting.
He's very much, I think he's paving the way a bit, I think, which is very cool. But there's so many. Like, you've got Dylan Gord, who's come in to Villa Thriller. He showed a short, the first one was the second one.
Second one.
He's showing No Scrumping, which will be part of the Welsh Day. which I'm very excited to show because Dylan, he has his own little group where they all make films. He's a great upcoming director.
He's very ambitious would be the word I'd use for what he's doing. Like, he's really trying to push the envelope of what he has access to make what he can. And he's doing great things.
Asher and Mike, MJ Dixon's obviously he's English, but Asher is partner. He's moved up here and he owns Mike Show, is that how you pronounce it?
My co-founder.
Yeah, you know, and they're doing quite a bit here. Like Asher's just done her first film. That's all Welsh language, which makes me happy because I love nothing more than seeing our beautiful tongue. Sadly, me and Tom don't speak it because we got colonised a little earlier. So it's one of them. You know, it's nice to see.
There's lots of so we go on a lot of BFI or it's not BFI, it's not British.
To the Film Hub Wales.
Film Hub Wales video conferences. So we get told about a lot of like the upcoming films that are coming up.
Oh, the Scurry.
There's one at the minute called Scurry, which is
Visa fans
looking for distribution. Which
that's not on my radar. I'll have to have a look for that.
That's an animated film as well.
Called Scurry.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
No, it's not animated.
You sure?
Yeah, it's live action. I'm sure it is.
Oh, I thought it was animated. Well, anyway, it's basically Night of the Living Dead with squirrels, it looks like. So Black Sheep with squirrels.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And Reese fans, isn't it?
Yeah, so that's one to keep your eye out for.
Definitely.
They're struggling with distribution because they want to be able to go into small film festivals in Wales, but the distributors are like, no, this is a gold mine.
Yeah, Fright Fest for nothing. Isn't it? That's what they're like,
so
basically.
They're struggling with distribution because it's too good, which is a great
The politics.
Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to that one.
You've got Mark Price, who did remember the zombie horror film Colin from a few, like...
Yes, I haven't seen it, but he did something else that was at Fright Fest last year. I can't remember what film it was now. Because people were really excited because they loved Colin and they were going to go and see his next one at Fright Fest, but I can't remember what it was. But sorry, yes, Mark Price, yes, go on.
Yeah, so he's also, because he's Welsh as well, he's just done a film that's basically a mix of The Raid and The Warriors. It's meant to be like
that one.
Yeah, by all accounts, it's meant to be a great film. I've spoke to Mark a couple of times on podcasts. He's a really cool guy, you know, and he makes, he's one to keep your eyes on. But you've got Ed, who's obviously David Swindell. He's done a few films, Rilla Thriller. He made Dark Signal. He did the noises for the crawlers in The Descent.
Yeah.
You know, and he's a professor, isn't he, in Wrexham Uni as well.
Wrexham University.
You know, he helps a lot of youngsters as well doing stuff. So shout out to him. He's always got his finger on the pulse.
Oh, we can't forget Matt and...
We can't forget.
We can't forget. What was it again?
Matt and Mark, who's done... they're going to kill me. Well, they've got a film coming out, and we showed the Fox and Hen, which has got Spencer Wilding, who's from Rill, who's played Darth
he's a good
Vader.
egg. Spencer's cool.
But they've been working on an anthology film for a few years now, and that's, I think, is very close to being completed at this point. And they've got Barbie Wilds in it.
Nice.
Lawrence Harvey's in it. Spencer. And they've got a bunch of... But they're just two fellas that are just trying to do their best with what they've got as well.
And they've always been very supportive to Rilla Thriller, so shout out to those guys as well.
But
absolutely. Sorry, go on.
There's a lot, and I think there's even more that none of us know about. You know, there's going to be so many people that are picking up camera phones and making films and just editing them and putting them on YouTube that then don't get submitted to film festivals or don't get submitted anywhere, and they're great. Like, YouTube's a great place for short horror films at the minute. Just people doing their own thing and just whacking it up there. Like, the quality that everybody has in their pocket now means that if you've got an idea and some friends, you can go out and make a horror film at the drop of a hat. It's just about how much you want to put into it. Which is great for everything, really. It's great for the quality of films. It's great for people starting out. It's great for people that used to be in it and want to get back into it. You know, it's really showing in community at the minute that everybody feels like they can get their artistic talent out now. Whereas 10 years ago, it was nowhere near the case. 20 years ago, it wasn't a chance.
Yeah.
You know,
this is why you write the emails, mate. This is why you write the emails.
You know, it's those things in Welsh cinema that people are now realising that, I don't need that funding that's in England just to do something. It might not be what I want it to be. It might not be the final product, but I can do a proof of concept on my own without the funding.
Cymru and beef.
And
Yeah.
and it's that strength from struggle,
Yeah.
I think, that makes Welsh horror so good, or Welsh film in general and media so good.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you've got to work it out before you do it. Nothing's handed to you. So it's
I
got to be
think-
good.
Yeah, I think you've nailed that. There's the inherent drive to get it done, get it made, get it out there, and you've got that passion and drive before you've even put pen to paper, or all the hoops you've got to jump through to be able to get anything done. So yeah, I think you've nailed that. What I was going to say earlier was have a look or remember either or what that anthology film coming out is, because I bloody love an anthology film. You don't have to look right now.
I'm going to look right now.
Fine, you can look right now. I was gonna say I'd pop it on the screen for anyone, but also I want to know. So tell me now.
You cannot stop that ADHD.
Yeah,
No, I know. He's like, it's like me watching a film, and I'm like, I must look on IMDb right now.
Alex, my wife, she shouts at me when I go on my phone, because she's like, "You're gonna Google who's on the screen, aren't you?" I'm like, "Of course I am."
It's why I like that Amazon Prime has that thing where if you push up, it'll tell you.
No, I
the
hate
things
that.
that-
I hate that. I heard somebody saying that they were watching Thanksgiving and they got who the killer was spoiled because it came up on the X-ray thing, and they were like, "Oh, well, there's no fucking point watching this now."
Oh wow!
Because it came up with the actor's name and then character name /
killer.
yeah, and obviously not spoiling that, and they were like, "Oh, well, for fuck's sake!" So I don't use that just in case it spoils something for me. But
You put me off it now.
many of my friends refer to me as a walking IMDb anyway, so we don't need IMDb.
Bloodstream.
Oh, okay.
Bloodstream, that's it.
Bloodstream.
Yeah, it looks very good. Very good. Yeah.
Excellent. Oh, I'll literally write that down now so I can't forget, because I will forget, and that sounds awesome. I wanna watch that.
Away. Anyway.
You need to wait. Okay, right. We'll wrap it up then.
Okay.
So thank you so much both for giving me so much time, sharing about the festival and your insight. I'll pop links to everything in the show notes, but is there anything you want to plug? Do you want to share before you go?
Festival, isn't it? It's just a festival, really.
I love how that noise sounded like. I said, is there anything you wanted to share? And to me on my headphones, it sounded like you let out a sneaky fart.
Kind of did. Nobody joking.
It's not a possibility, but no, not this time.
My guffs are my guffs.
Yeah.
Aren't they?
No, just the festival, just our festival, but then also support your local festivals.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Once they're gone, they're
absolutely.
gone.
Look what's going around you, because if there's anybody doing a film festival or a pop-up screening night around you, they're certainly not making money off it. They're certainly not well rested, and they're certainly doing it just because they want to see one other person have a good time.
Mhm.
So just go to it. Keep going to them. Go to your cinema. Go to your video rental place if there's still one by you, or your DVD rental place.
But more importantly, go to www.rillathriller.com and get your tickets for Rilla Thriller for Fear the Old ways.
that too.
Exactly that.
Yeah.
I will put the
Available
link.
at Eventbrite.
Available at Eventbrite. Also, if you're a filmmaker, go to our Film Freeway and submit
Yes.
your films and stuff. If you are, like me, a broke filmmaker, just give us a message. I'll give you a waiver to just put your film in for free. But we're looking for more Welsh films. Any films are fine, but, we can do some more Welsh films for the Friday. So, yeah.
Always looking for more Welsh films.
Brilliant.
Yeah, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Bebo. Bebo's coming back. We'll get on to that later.
I had this conversation
Oh,
this
there we go,
morning
yeah.
with my friend,
Bebo's
and I was
coming
like,
back.
what the fuck?
Someone brought it.
See, I'm
Yeah.
older than you guys, and I was like, what the fuck is Bebo? And she was like, you're too old for Bebo. And I was like, okay.
Wow, how old are you? I thought you were younger than Tom, at least.
I'm 39.
Oh, only just. I'm 37 at the end of this year.
I'm 31.
I knew you were a baby, but I thought you were, like, quite a bit younger than me, Tom.
No. This guy, though.
I like how you're like, look at him.
Listen, hard paper round.
Yeah.
It was in Beirut.
Bombs. We went well off topic, didn't we? Bombs going off, napalm and stuff.
Well, if these pair of absolute fucking clowns haven't convinced you to come along. And if you can't come to Rill for whatever reason, you're busy that weekend or wherever, go follow them and share their stuff, because you can do that for free. It costs fucking nothing. Share the link, share the pages, and help get the word out there, because it's a fucking great festival and you guys are brilliant and I love what you do, and thank you again for coming on.
Thank you for having us.
I will speak to you again soon.
Definitely.
See you soon. See you soon.
Bye.
Okay, if you're still with me, thank you ever so much. Diolch. This has been a heck of a big episode. But like I said, it's a labour of love. I wanted to share some Welsh festivals and some Welsh filmmakers, because I'm fully in my obsessed with being Welsh period right now. But thank you so much for listening. I know it was a bumper episode. There are so many links in the show notes for you. There are links to my socials and then social media for all of the guests and all of the places that they want to send you to. So go check them all out. Go give them all a follow. The support of the Welsh festivals and Welsh horror community and indie filmmakers is just invaluable. So please go check out everybody that was on the episode. Go follow and go and see how you can get involved with fundraising, how you can get tickets, how you can support, all that good stuff. Diolch I gwrando. Thank you for listening. Cari ti. Da bo hi.